All right, welcome to this edition of the Below the Yellow Line podcast, the show where every time we try to do something, there's always an issue with the call. You want a show where literally there's issues 24/7, you come to this one. I'm your host, Velocity. We got the usual panel. We got Danny, we got Joseph, we got Thomas. The busiest weekend in motorsports, as the title suggests, has just officially ended. We got all three NASCAR National Touring Series. We got some IndyCar, F1, SuperCar. It's 24 hours of spa. Just so much to talk about. We're going to talk all about it right here, right now. Let's get to it.
Get started with Pocono, guys. What a race. And say what you want about the Aero package, but we saw action yesterday indeed. Denny Hamlin scoring his 5th win at Pocono. What do you guys have to say about that 11 car?
They played the strategy right. I just find it funny how literally they're like everyone was like, "Oh, we're not so sure about fuel." Yet Denny had enough to do a burnout.
Fuel's a gamble.
Oh yeah. I mean, they went like 40.
It's called poker face.
Yeah.
It's how you play the cards.
All right. Now, before we continue any further, so I believe I mentioned it. I don't know if I mentioned it last week or not, but if I didn't, then I'll mention it this time. So we started something called the World Race. Thomas left, so we might have to invite him later. So we started something last week called the World Racing Media Championship. Basically, we take all of our picks, everyone at World Racing Media, or at least those who participate in the picks, and you score points. And whoever scores the most points wins championship at season's end. What do you get for winning the championship? Bragging rights, I guess, for getting most of the picks right. So basically how it works is it's like stage racing in NASCAR. If you want to score points, your driver has to finish inside the top 10. First place gets 10 points, 10th place gets 1 point. You do the math. It's now rocket science. So we did that for the races. So round 1 of the 2019, we got to invite Tom, by the way. I'll get to that in a second. I'm actually here. Let me do it now before we continue. You remember what I said earlier about how this is the show with always technical difficulties? Here you go. Texas. Hold up. Wait a minute. Off to a great start.
Well, it's a podcast. Not a
Yeah.
blog. We don't have to be perfect. We're sitting right here.
Oh, yeah. And it's also this podcast, so you know there's going to be an issue one way, shape, or form.
At least
Anyway.
the pen has ink.
Actually, I was doing a test today, and the pen didn't have any ink.
These two don't.
All right, so as I was saying, okay, now let's get back on track with the World Racing Media Championship. So, round 1 is in the books, and so here's what it is. Actually, let me see if I can screen share it. I'm gonna try something new. How do I do this?
Let's talk about the Cup race while Armani gets to his World Racing Media Championship. The Pocono Gander RV 400 round 21 of 36 is in the books. Denny Hamlin scores his 5th win at the Tricky Triangle. Fuel mileage. His other wins, an unthinkable sweep in 2006 as a rookie driver. 2009, the second race, and the first race of 2010. So we pretty much passed 9 years since Hamlin's last win at this track. Eric Jones scores his 2nd place finish, his 3rd consecutive podium in a row. So in the last 3 races, he's finished 3rd or 2nd. Martin Truex Jr. comes home 3rd. He led no laps. William Byron gets his 2nd career top 5 finish. And Armani, I think you have your presentation.
Okay, so here are the point standings for the World Racing Media Championship. So, as you can see here, Danny over here, Danny has 41 points. He has a 9-point lead over, well, me. Then we got in 3rd place, Will, our founder of World Racing Media at NASCAR Opinion. He is 11 points back. Then Larry hosts the weekend roundup. He is 12 back. Then Thomas over here, he is tied with Jeff Bottled Up Radio for 24 points. But because Thomas participated in more picks, he gets the tiebreaker over Jeff. So he sits fifth in the standings. And then our beloved co-host of the Below the Line podcast here, Joseph, he is sitting lucky number 7 with 23 points, 18 back, and rounding out shotgun on the field is Justin, YT NASCAR, 27 points behind. And those are your point standings after round 1 of the 2019 World Racing Media Championship.
Yep. Gotta come back tougher.
I told Danny this. The offer's still on the table. If he just wants to get, literally just give away those 10 points, just give up those 10 points. That way I can at least be 1 point ahead of him. I'd appreciate that. So, the offer's still on the table.
Well, the offer's on the table, but there's only one round. Time flies, and I might just climb up in that point standings.
Yeah, I'm going to make sure that doesn't happen.
I'll make sure either.
All right. Thomas Bertham put in the chat. Let's talk about the Twitter war between Kurt and Stenhouse. LOL. We might as well talk about it. It's not that much to say. So, going into the second to last restart of the race, obviously we saw basically 5 wide going to turn 1. Kurt Busch put Stenhouse in the wall. He squeezed Stenhouse, but then when you're 5 wide, what do you expect? And then Stenhouse decided to dump Kurt Busch because Stenhouse. And then they had some altercation on Twitter, which I don't think is going to go anywhere. What do you guys think?
Honestly, it will. There'll be another situation down the line of Bristol or someplace like that where one of them will get dumped again. Especially if Stenhouse is fighting for for the playoffs. If he's a couple points back and he needs to pass Busch, hell yeah, he's going to dump him.
88 points behind the cut line, 20th as we speak, with 5 races remaining.
He's in a must-win situation.
At this point, I agree.
Yeah, unless you're going to like Bristol or Darlington where, tempers are known to flare, then I can see something happening. But, if they're like at Las Vegas or if they're like at Michigan, I don't really see anything happening. Or maybe even Watkins Glen. Who knows? Maybe something will happen this week. Who knows? Maybe
Watkins Glen is a different entity. Anything can happen.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
But speaking of Pocono, let's talk about the Pocono Cup race before. What'd you guys think?
I thought it was the most horrendous race I've seen. Period.
Worst June race.
Absolutely. How can you get 13 when Harvick at one time was 13 seconds up over Almirola before a green flag stop? Whoever got up front was gone.
Oh yeah, obviously Clean Air will Clean Air is still the Lord and Savior of Pocono because Pocono. But I thought it was way better than the PJ1. It worked, but only in turn 3. You saw a lot of passes in turn 3, whereas in the June race, I think you saw maybe 5 passes all day long. It was.
Well, yeah, especially by the guy that I had changed my pick on like a freaky idiot.
Last minute.
Yeah.
Hey,
but we won't talk about that.
Yeah, if you guys are watch the race, you'll probably know what he's talking about. But yeah, it was. Here's the difference between this race and the one in June. Strategy seemed to be more in play at this race. It actually shook up the field more than the one in June. The one in June, it's okay, there was strategy, but it didn't really mean anything. Here, I felt like strategy meant something.
And if the package won't deliver, which many fans agree upon, looking at Twitter and other forms of social media, if the package doesn't produce excitement, then at least have the pit strategies come into play. That keeps a fan engaged. Just me personally, I love being engaged in a race that has pit cycles when cars come down the pits and They are in different strategies, tires, fuel, and like if one thing doesn't work, then hopefully the other does. And like I'm for it.
Here's my thing. I've said it before, where it's like I got 3 criteria for a race to be good. By the way, the side of my forehead looks freaking huge, so let's put that down a bit. I've always said that like there's 3 criteria for a race to be great or good or whatever. You need to have good passing. You need to have strategy be a factor, and you need to have at least have like one memorable moment. At least one. It's like, you could say, okay, whether it be a wreck or, like a pass on the last lap or whatever. So I think this race, it had the strategy. It had the memorable. I wouldn't necessarily call it a memorable moment, but it had a moment. It had a couple moments, but the passing was lacking.
I agree. The cars only had
Absolutely.
so much speed.
Oh yeah, I mean that's what happens when like. Here's the thing: people say give them the 750 horsepower. The problem is that the engines are made for 900 horsepower, but they're restricted to 550. So there's no torque in the car. If you have a 550 horsepower engine, then the drivers can do more because then there's actually going to be torque in the car. There's a difference between having a 550 horsepower engine made for 550 horsepower and then having an engine made for 900 horsepower and then just reducing it to 550.
I mean, anybody that's seen follows me on Twitter, you seen my rant on Pocono.
Oh yeah.
And so NASCAR's solution, go back next year and do it 2 days in a row. I mean, come on.
Well, I feel like one of the things that NASCAR was thinking about is like, okay, just get both races out of the way and let's move on.
I will be right back.
All right.
Yeah, you go and invert the field. I mean, if you look back on that race last year, if they had inverted the field, that would put Bubba Wallace and Michael McDowell 1-2 to start the second race.
Yeah, and either two things will happen. Number one, Clean Air would be our Lord and Savior, so one of them is just going to pull away. Or two, they're going to fall back after like lap 15, and then you're back to your regularly scheduled program. In my opinion, of course. But the inverted field, they're just doing anything they can to make Pocono entertaining. I've said like NASCAR doesn't work at big flat tracks. Like I'm talking 2+ mile tracks. Pocono, usually a snooze fest. Michigan, usually a snooze fest. Auto Club, usually a snooze fest. These big flat tracks, they just don't work for NASCAR. They're fun for the drivers. Unless it's 2019, then it's not fun for the drivers. But it's just no.
What do fans want? Fun racing? Crashes? Fights? They can't pick one, don't they?
I think that you're starting to see more fans go to the side of we want quality racing and not fake racing. I've seen a lot more fans deviate towards that side.
What if I ask, sorry to interrupt, what if I ask, do the fans want entertainment or like they'll take a boring race if Chase Elliott wins, but if an amazing race like Martinsville 2017 happens and Kyle Busch wins the race, oh, that's a disgrace. Oh boy, that race was terrible.
I actually disagree with you because think about Chicagoland last year. I don't think I met anybody anywhere on social media that said that Chicagoland was a bad race because Kyle Busch won. They all said
it was a great race. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah, they've all said like, yeah, I don't like that Kyle Busch won, but the race was fantastic. So,
yeah, that's what I was going to say.
I have yet to meet someone that said, "Oh yeah, Chicagoland last year was shit because Kyle Busch won."
Of course.
They say that about Martinsville.
It's unbelievable, man.
But then a lackluster race at Watkins Glen happens. An interesting battle to the end. Chase Elliott wins, but
yeah.
Okay, so the race is great. Like Kansas last year, boring. Chase Elliott wins the race. That was race of the year. Good job.
You can even look at Chicagoland this year.
I want to say it's the best. I think the best race of the year is Talladega, in my opinion.
Yeah, it was.
I would give the best race of the year to Talladega right now. Kansas, I'll put top. I think it's like number 2. Excuse me, or number 3. Chicagoland, it's definitely top 5, maybe top 3.
Yeah, Chicagoland, I think will hit the top 5 list in my opinion. Sonoma was, I'd say,
Sonoma was boring.
yeah, I
Boring.
expected better. That doesn't make a race bad. It just mutes the tone a little bit.
Sonoma's just never really been that entertaining. I mean, yeah, 2016 and 1991. That's all I can really think about.
The Sonoma is another one of those tracks. NASCAR really needs to sit down and actually revamp the schedule. Give an Iowa Speedway in mid-Ohio. Someplace like that.
Yeah, we could talk about the change of the schedule more, but before we do that, I want to give you guys the top 10 results from Pocono and the points and playoff standings. So, top 10 results. Denny Hamlin gets his 3rd win of the season. Eric Jones with his 3rd top 3 finish in a row with 2nd place. My pick, by the way. Truex finishes off a JGR 1-2-3 in 3rd. William Byron with his 2nd career top 5 finish in 4th. Kyle Larson, after having started in the back, finishes 5th. Then you got Kevin Harvick, the pole sitter, finishes 6th. Daniel Hemrick with his 2nd top 10 of the season. Ran in the top 10 all day long. Good for him. Brad Keselowski in 8th. Kyle Busch, who led the most laps and won stage 1 in 9th. And Ryan Blaney, the 2017 June winner, rounds out your top 10. In case any of you, and in case you want to know, Kyle Busch won stage 1 and Jimmy Johnson won stage 2.
That stage 2 win helped advance Johnson to 17th in the points.
Oh, he's always been 17th in points.
Of course, man.
I mean,
Which brings me to this, which is why Cliff Daniels is now the new crew chief of the number 48. So, I'm looking here on NASCAR.com, and Rick Hendrick says, we have great confidence in Cliff's ability to win races with Jimmy and the team, says team owner Rick Hendrick. He's a natural leader and tremendously talented from both technical and communication standpoint. Cliff's familiarity with Jimmy and the number 48 team culture will benefit us a ton. He will bring the spark that's been our missing ingredient. You know, I absolutely agree with Rick Hendrick when he says that.
Cliff Daniels was the chief race engineer for during the 2016 season when they won the championship.
Exactly.
Why make the move now with 5 races remaining in the year? That move should have been made 10 races ago.
Honestly, I don't know why they picked Kevin Menry. It's like, yeah, let's move up the guy who hasn't won an Xfinity race with Elliott Sadler since 2016. Let's pair him up with Jimmy Johnson, 7-time champion. It's like, what? Didn't make sense in my opinion.
chemistry is an
Big
thing.
part. It's chemistry, man.
It's not just
That's
a big
all that
part.
it is.
Chemistry
It
is
really
also a weird concept. You never know what 2 people or who can work together and bind a relationship on the track and off the track. Usually, if you get the boxes checked on the track, good, off the track relationship, good, you have a great combination, you're scoring better finishes. Jimmy and Chad, of course, they fell apart shortly after his 7th championship. So, who can blame Rick Hendrick for making that decision to switch crew chief to Kevin Mendering? However, race engineer for Hendrick Motorsports, Cliff Daniels, taking over the spot might just be the last attempt for that extra boost that could get Jimmy Johnson into the playoffs.
I mean, Jimmy Johnson's already been running top 10. He has top 10 pace. With Cliff Daniels, they can put that back to top 5 pace.
And even wins.
with Cliff Daniels, I wouldn't be surprised to see Jimmy Johnson win now because I mean, like he's been on the 48 team before. He was with them when they won the championship in 2016.
Yeah.
My only concern with Cliff Daniels is, yeah, they won the championship in 2016, but 2016 was overall Jimmy Johnson was fairly. Think about this. He won the title in 2016, but that was his first ever season. He had less than 20 top 10s.
Yeah.
So I'm a little bit worried about that because, like, okay, yeah, he came on board when Jimmy Johnson started to fall apart a little bit. So I'm maybe a little bit concerned from that regard. But I think that the chemistry is going to help.
Now, here's my counter argument. A crew chief change is not the same as giving a magic wand and making everything great again. It doesn't work that way.
Yeah,
Why can't anyone else admit Jimmy's not in his prime anymore? We know where he's at in terms of his performance and consistency. It's dipped, and Canals had to go. Mentoring now had to go. I think this is the question whether we see strike 3 or not with Cliff Daniels.
Oh man.
I mean, you're talking about in 2016, Johnson had 11 top 5s, 16 top 10s, had 11 top 5s in 2014. This year, he's got 3 top 5s, 8 top 10s. The question I have is if this Daniels-Johnson combination does fail, is this the end of Jimmy Johnson in the 48?
I think
Should we see another Carl Edwards type exit?
I don't think we'll see a Carl Edwards type exit, but if it doesn't work between these two, Jimmy's definitely gone by 2020. Because Jimmy would be like, okay, sure. It's been like 2 seasons where I've been doing dog crap. I'm not going to prolong it.
Yeah. Yeah. As a 48 fan, I definitely have to agree with you. It's just not in his prime anymore. We're having some good top 5s here and there, which is okay, but the fact that we just don't have any wins is just like something's wrong here. It's been since 2017. 2 years.
Okay.
2 years.
Thomas Bertram in the comments said, too little too late on the switch, in my opinion.
I'm still of the opinion that Jimmy Johnson will end his winless streak at race 84 of his winless streak. Here's it. And guess what? Race 84, he's going to win career race number 84.
Right.
I think that's when he's going to end his winless streak. I said that. I think I made that prediction back in March.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Hopefully it's true. I mean, I predicted that Chevy would go to the Camaro and Lowe's would leave Jimmy Johnson, so hopefully it's true. I'd rather see it sooner, but better then than never.
Yeah, better late than never, right?
Yeah. Let's move on to. I'm gonna give you guys the point standings and the playoff standings. So I'll give you guys the top 10 in points, just because I know there's people who like that. So Logano extends his points lead from Kyle Busch. He is Logano's ahead of Kyle Busch by 6 points. Harvick third, minus 85. Hamlin moves up to fourth, minus 102. Truex move up back to the top 5, minus 123. Keselowski falls to 6, minus 129. Kurt Busch, 7th, minus 174. Chase Elliott falls down to 8th, minus 208. Eric Almirola moves up to 9th, minus 210. And Ryan Blaney moves back to the top 10, minus 225. Those are your top 10 point standings. Now, the playoff grid. Currently, 9 drivers are locked in. Logano, Kyle Busch, Kevin Harvick, Hamlin, Truex, Keselowski, Kurt Busch, Chase Elliott, and Alex Bowman. The points, Eric Almirola is plus 94 above the cut line. Ryan Blaney is plus 79. And William Byron is the final driver who is a full race ahead of the cut line, plus 62. Eric Jones is plus 39. Larson, plus 37. Then you get to the bubble area. Clint Boyer and Ryan Newman are tied, plus 12. And then here we get to the cutoff. As usual, I always do for the Cup Series, 100 points for the cutoff. Jimmy Johnson, 17th, minus 12. Suarez falling further down, 18th, minus 31. Paul Menard, minus 68. The first driver who is more than a full race behind, 16th in the standings. Ricky Stenhouse Jr., as previously mentioned earlier in the show, he is minus 88. And Chris Buescher, minus 93 in the 21st position. What are the notables? Who do you think has the best shot on the outside looking in? You think maybe we could see a surprise winner out of the ones I just mentioned, or maybe something that will give me your thoughts?
I got this gut feeling Johnson's gonna make it. That he's gonna end that winless streak, and that'll put him in. I don't see Boyer making it. I don't see Boyer making it, and I don't see Newman making
Boyer
it.
is definitely not making it, for sure. With the way he's running right now, I don't think he's making the playoffs.
And I don't think.
And if he does, he get knocked out of the first round easily.
I agree. Here's what I say, and this kind of ties back to silly season, which we'll talk about probably later. I say whichever Stewart-Haas racing driver doesn't make the play, because I don't think all four are going to make it. Whichever one doesn't is gone by the end of the year. So Boyer doesn't make it, Custer's in. If Suarez doesn't make it, Custer. Either way, they're going to get replaced. Out of the outside looking in, Jimmy Johnson. I think they is the best shot at making it. I just can't see Newman making it. I just can't. Like, especially with some of the tracks coming up, they suit Jimmy Johnson a lot more than they do Ryan Newman.
I know, right?
And it's not like Ryan Newman's any better either. He's off his prime, just like Johnson is.
Well, Newman's definitely improved that 6 car.
Astronomically.
Exactly. Which, by the way, speaking of the 20th in the standings, if Stewart-Haas Racing keeps that same driver lineup for next year, Cole Custer to the 17 doesn't sound like a bad idea.
Cole Custer to the 17.
Hey, they probably,
or even Briscoe.
They probably save a lot of money off of Rex sheet metal.
And speaking of Chase Briscoe, we'll talk about his Xfinity win in just a few moments. He's been on the headlines too. I like what Chase Briscoe is performing nowadays in the Xfinity series. So I'm a believer. I just don't think you should jump a guy like him into the Cup Series. Not yet.
Yeah, Briscoe's not going to the Cup Series next year. He might make a couple Cup Series starts next year, but he's not going into the Cup Series. But yeah, let's jump ship to the Xfinity Series. The race overall, in my opinion, it was okay. It was better than the June race. But, I think one of the problems with Iowa is that it's like Atlanta, where it's too worn out for its own good. Like, it's like, you got like that equilibrium where, it's worn out. So it makes the race interesting because the cars are slipping and sliding. But like Atlanta, it's too worn out.
I could agree. Iowa's a track where you need the top line to your advantage. Passing on the inside proved to be difficult this weekend. So that's one thing I noticed. I wasn't really paying attention to the race. Let me get that out of the way. I was on a homework marathon, finals in college. Barely have any time to check out the Xfinity race. I come back and there's like 50 laps to go. It was a caution test, and Christopher Bell, he choked the race, led 234 of the 250 laps, and Chase Briscoe passes him with 7 to go, and those are the only 7 laps Briscoe leads the entire race to win.
I knew Briscoe was going to win this season. He's just too talented. Briscoe was an underrated talent, in my opinion. I didn't think he'd win Iowa. I thought he'd win like one of the 1.5 mile tracks, honestly, because he's been good at the 1.5 miles. Hold on, I'm trying to look at the top 10. But yeah, what are your guys' overall thoughts about the race?
I thought it was mediocre. I mean, yeah, it was definitely better than the junior race, but
Yeah, for
there wasn't
sure.
a whole lot you could say about it.
Yeah, I agree with it.
It's definitely way better than the junior race.
Here's the thing. Out of all the tracks that'll at 2021, I guarantee that the track that will be on the schedule is Iowa. But if that does happen, it will be my least favorite short track on the schedule. I'm just not that big a fan of Iowa. Like, yeah, it's got a lot of good moments, but it's like recently it's just been kind of lackluster to say the least. I mean, think about it. When was the last memorable Iowa moment? Like in the last 5 years? I mean, I know Christopher Bell won 3 in a row last year at winning Iowa, first time since like 1998 or 9 with Dale Jr., but that's really it.
I remember 8 years ago, Ricky Stenhouse Jr. blows the engine, coming right to the start finish line. His teammate Carl Edwards should have found a way to pass him. He was in the dirty,
I mean,
stuff.
Trying to give him a push.
Plowed into Stenhouse, and they finished 1-2 in the most dramatic way.
He tried to do what Lightning McQueen did with the King and Cars. He just failed to get it. But yeah, let me give you guys the top 10 results. So Chase Briscoe with his first win of the season. Stewart-Haas Racing for its second year in a row. Both drivers reached victory lane. Christopher Bell is the runner-up after dominating the entire race. John Hunter Nemechek with the third place finish had a shot at the win, couldn't get it done. Noah Gragson, my pick to win the race, finishes fourth. Good top 5 for him. Tyler Reddick keeps the top 5 streak going in 5th. Justin Allgaier 6th. Shane Lee, shout out to Shane Lee in 7th. And that 28. I think they're a new team actually.
Yeah, 6 races in.
And they 6 races in, 7th place finish. Great result for that team. Then you got Justin Haley in 8th Zane Smith in 9th, and Michael Annette rounds out your top 10. Any noticeable? I think the biggest noticeable is Shane Lee.
Great job for him. He gave that team their first ever top 10 finish.
And he qualified in the top 10 too. I think he qualified like 6th, I think.
7th. Started and finished 7th.
Great job for that team.
You know, this is not necessarily notable, but look at the run Haley had, especially after the week that team had with losing Harrison.
Oh yeah, definitely. And on that tribute on lap 11 of the race, I believe at Pocono, that was just, I really like seeing it. That was really nice to see. And to rally back to finish 8th, I mean, that team deserved it. So hopefully they can move on from this tragedy and start continue the great run that they're having. I don't want to ask who the new crew chief will be because it just doesn't sound respectful. So that's why I haven't asked that yet. But it's like,
I hear what you mean.
Though honestly, I think it's going to be Chris Rice. I think Chris Rice will stay.
Right.
I think Rice will. It'll be a crew chief by committee type deal.
Yeah. So, like I do with the Cup Series, I'm going to give you guys the points and playoff standings for the Xfinity Series. Starting off with the top 10 in points after race 19 of 33 on the season. Tyler Reddick continues his points lead, basically what he's had the entire season. But Christopher Bell's been chipping in, minus 46. He's the only driver within a race's worth of points to catch Tyler Reddick. Cole Custer, minus 97 back in 3rd. And then you just see the separation of points from here. Justin Allgaier is in 4th, minus 153. Everyone else back is minus 200. Austin Cindric, 5th, 207. Gregson, 6th, 228. Chase Briscoe moves up to 7th, minus 232. Michael Annette, 8th, minus 257. Justin Haley, 9th, minus 263. And rounding out your top 10 is John Hunter Nemechek, minus 284. That is your top 10 in points. Now the playoff grid. 5 drivers are now locked into the playoffs. Obviously, with Chase Briscoe winning, Tyler Reddick, Christopher Bell, Cole Custer, Briscoe, and Annette. The points, I mean, unless like we get a random winner, which I wouldn't surprise me, or if Brandon Jones continues to be the talentless hack that he is, I wouldn't be surprised to saw points his way in. So let me give you the points. Justin Allgaier plus 296, Austin Cindric plus 242, Gregson 221, and then those are the drivers who are plus 200 above the cut line. Justin Haley is plus 186, John Hunter Nemechek plus 165, Ryan Sieg is plus 119, and the talentless hack that I mentioned, Brandon Jones, is plus 101. How are you in a JGR car and you're at the bottom of the playoff grid? Think about this. If Chastain would have never switched points, Brandon Jones would be out. How do you explain that? You can't.
That's like explaining Gasly's performance in Formula One.
Talentless hack.
Exactly. Normally when I put the cutoff, it's drivers within 100 points. But because it's the Xfinity Series, because like there's such a big gap, I have to expand it to 200. So I'll read off 13 through 15. Craig Gaulding, minus 101. Brandon Brown, shout out to him, by the way. He became a fan of him this season. Minus 148. And Jeremy Clements rounds up the top 15, minus 148. Everyone else is 200 back.
Here's breaking news. JGR has going to bring back Kroger as a sponsor of both cars next year.
Kroger?
Is this for the Xfinity Series?
No, this is for Cup.
Okay. But
that's according to Adam Stern.
Does it say anything about JTG?
Wait, hold on. Which two drivers are gonna get the sponsorship?
They're saying it could be both of them, Buescher and Priest.
Oh,
so Kroger's just expanding to. So it's like
yes.
Pro Shop where they sponsor multiple teams.
Yes.
Oh, okay. Yeah, because when he said that, I was like, so are they leaving JTG Dory or are they?
No, I'm reading it right here from Adam Stern. Kroger will be back as sponsor on both of the JTGR racing cars next year.
Oh, okay. I thought you said JGR.
Yeah, me too.
I thought you said that. I was like, wait. So they're. That wouldn't surprise me. All right, I think that's all for the Xfinity Series. So we'll move on to the final national series in NASCAR, the Truck Series. The Truck Series raced at Pocono. It was boring.
Ross Chastain had a walk-off victory, according to baseball here, because it's true. He led 54 of the 60 laps. The race was quick, fast, short, and sweet. The only other driver to lead the race was Harrison Burton, who won stage 2. Tyler Ankrum scores another podium finish. Last race at Kentucky, and then backing this one up with second. Christian Eckes comes home 4th. Brent Moffitt 5th. Matt Crafton 6th. Todd Gilliland outside the cut line in 7th. He's going to need a big Hail Mary if he wants to make the playoffs. Johnny Sauter, Ben Rhodes in another situation, and Grant Enfinger, the regular series points leader. That's your top 10. Here's some notables outside the top 10. Natalie Decker 16th. Sheldon Creed 25th. Austin Hill 30th. Anthony Alfredo and Stuart Friesen finished in the last 2 spots due to the lap 1 crash. Stuart Friesen started 3rd, never made it out of turn 1.
Yeah, I mean, everyone was saying like, oh, Natalie Decker finished 16th. Good for her. No. You'll get praise when you finish at least top 15. If you get top 15, like 13th or 12th, then it's like, okay, not bad. But 16th, no, that's still unacceptable in that kind of equipment.
Of course, forget the fact that Austin Hill broke, Friesen and Alfredo had crashes. She would have been outside the top 20 easy.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Like, until I see Decker running at least top 15, like, I'm still like, I wouldn't be surprised if, here's the thing, I think Gilliland is out of KBM next year, and I don't believe, and I believe fully that David Gilliland will not hesitate to throw Decker to the curb and put Gilliland in the 54.
So I think I tend to go the other way with Alfredo. I mean, yeah, it's Natalie Decker. I mean, it's the next Danica Patrick. Look at what Danica did with Junior Motorsports, bringing them notoriety. Yeah, she didn't do a damn thing, but
Okay, but even then, it's like I think fans are more against Decker than they are for her. Because I think they learned from Danica, like, okay, let's not overhype a female driver. They do nothing, and they do nothing. Because I see a lot more hate towards Decker than they do, praise for her. Here's my take on whether I like or don't like drivers. I don't like the drivers who underperform in winning equipment and are only in there because of the money. If that's the only reason that you're there, then yeah, I'm not gonna like you. But Anthony Alfredo, he's already a part-timer, so it's like I don't see, like, they're not gonna kick out a part-timer to get a full-timer in. Decker, she's basically full-time. She's missed 2 or 3 races this season.
Here's my problem with Decker. And when the deal was announced by DJR Crosley Racing on social media, I can recall, I'm not 100%, but I'll say the deal was Natalie Decker would drive in select Truck Series events, select ARCA Racing Series events, and select Can-Am Pro Series events. They didn't say East or West. And all I'm seeing is Truck Series races. And only Daytona for ARCA and that one Bristol race. Someone else started a wreck that took her out on lap 1, so which is another thing. Most of the crash she's in wasn't even our fault. But in the end, stats are stats, and Natalie Decker aren't putting stats up.
But here's the thing, like you just said, select races. I mean, if you're going to come up, keep it ARCA, keep it K&N, KEs, wherever. Don't go bouncing around everything you can drive.
My problem, though,
especially if you're a rookie.
I don't want to interrupt, but my problem with the deal is Natalie Decker is spending the majority of the races announced in the Truck Series. They're putting her in the trucks, and she's not ready.
Oh, absolutely not.
Decker. And yeah, real reasons because she played hockey. I once played hockey. So that's just, and she will respond to comments on social media.
But going back to the whole Gilliland thing, I absolutely agree that he's out at KBM. I've been on records as saying I can see both Gilliland and Harrison Burton out of KBM.
Here's the thing. I personally believe Harrison Burton will stay at KBM. Todd Gilliland, I'm sorry. He's got another option. Go to DGR Crosley Racing. Your dad owns the team. You have the resources. They're putting up results with Tyler Ankrum. Excuse me. They're ideal for Todd. KBM and the crew chief, he's not collaborating well with Todd Gilliland, and the results aren't showing. In my humble opinion, Todd Gilliland will leave KBM, just like you said.
Here's what I think it's going to look like. And then after this, if you guys don't have any more thoughts, I'll give the Truck Series standings. Todd Gilliland will go to the 54. Decker's out. Because I think people are going to... Here's the thing. I have this thing where, okay, if you're not going to perform, if you're not going to... It's like, at least be like Paul Menard. You're in winning equipment and you're running 15th with it, but at least you're keeping the car clean. Decker doesn't do that. Decker wrecks the damn thing every 3 or 4 laps. So it's like, that's why I think she's going to be. If Decker would at least keep the truck clean, I can see her coming back next year. But I think at this point, David Gilliland, I mean, if he's intelligent, if he's learned from his mistakes, he's going to tell Decker, yeah, no, I'm not going to waste these sponsorship dollars just on paying for the damaged trucks that you caused. So get out of here.
Here's my deal. When it was announced last year or before 2018 started that Natalie Decker was going to race a couple times in the ARCA Series, I thought she'd be a contender to win the championship. She did not. She finished like what, sixth?
She finished seventh with like 9 top 10s and only led one lap.
9 top 10s and 1 lap led is not bad at all. She had a decent ARCA season. It could have been better, but it could have been worse.
Yeah, I mean her ARCA season was.
Why would you impede the progress of a driver, and especially a young driver who has talent, possible talent, and especially a fan base, an avid fan base like Natalie Decker, who comes from Wisconsin in late model short track races, which she did find success in, mind you. Why would you jump her into the truck series? I understand it's money. I understand money is part of racing and forever will be. If you have the cash, you have the ride. Simple as that. And if you have the dollars from a sponsor, you're in a car. But sometimes it shouldn't come to the expense of a driver's career.
In my opinion, Decker just wants attention.
I don't think so.
I think so at this point. And it's even getting to the point where it's like Decker really is starting to be like Danica. Because here's the thing. When Danica was racing full-time in NASCAR, if you look at her social media at that time, you barely saw anything about racing. You look at Natalie Decker's Instagram at this point, not that much about racing when you really think about it. You just see yoga or her spending time with her family. But you don't really see too much. You see like maybe 1 or 2 about racing. You know, if she finishes in the top 20, then maybe she'll say something. But, you know, she barely finishes inside the top 20, so you'll barely see it.
About if you finish outside the top 20. I shouldn't say that because it's not, I mean, personally, just my belief. I don't think it's my place to judge somebody off of their social media posts. But
No, I'm not judging off them. I'm just saying.
Right.
The comparison is there.
The comparison, and also I'm also staying hesitant when it comes to comparing a female driver to Danica Patrick right away. I mean, I honestly see Natalie Decker like she's still in Lupton's early years in the NASCAR nationwide.
Your favorite driver,
which is, and he's in the team now. DJR Cross Racing. They put him in, and what? He scored 2 top 10s, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah,
in the 2 races, Lupton ran. And you remember the podcast when it was announced that Lupton was going to drive for.
Oh, you and Justin were ecstatic.
Here's what I'm going to say. I thought that was a major step down. But maybe for Lupton, it's the right time.
Well, for other reasons, me and Danny love Dylan Lupton.
I know. And so does an entire fan base of Jimmy Johnson. They adore him.
Exactly. Put Dylan Lupton in the 48. All right, so now going on to the, as usual, top 10 points, playoff, all that good stuff. So, top 10 points. Grant Enfinger leads Brett Moffitt by 34 points. Crafton, who has the best average finish in the series this season, I think with like an average finish of like 6 point something. He is 53 back. Stuart Friesen is 4th minus 69. Harrison Burton is 5th minus 82. Ben Rhodes 6th minus 103. Excuse me. Todd Gilliland minus 154 and 7th. Daytona winner Austin Hill minus 156. Then Sheldon Creed minus 174. Rounding out your top 10 is Johnny Sauter minus 180. Now let's take a look at the playoff grid. 5 drivers are locked in. Austin Hill, Johnny Sauter, Brett Moffitt, Ross Chastain, and Tyler Ankrum. Right now, there's only 3 spots available. Grant Enfinger, Matt Crafton, and Stuart Friesen are those spots. And as usual, the cutoff, 100 points from the cutoff. So we got 9 through 11. Harrison Burton is minus 13 back. Ben Rhodes is minus 34 back. And Todd Gilliland is minus 85 back. I think Sheldon Creed is minus like 105 or something. I'm not 100% sure. But that gives you your playoff grid. As before, notables, who do you think has the best shot making it on the outside looking in? Could we see a surprise winner? Give me your thoughts.
Harrison Burton, all the way.
Do you think he'll make
that kid?
Playoffs?
I think he'll make it. I think that win is coming.
Who do you see him kicking out?
Stuart Friesen, honestly.
And I'm on the flip side. I think Stuart Friesen is the man to beat going into Eldora. He's going to win everything. His He's going to start first in qualifying in the single truck sessions. He's going to win his heat, and he's certainly going to win that A-main.
Well, we already know Joseph's pick for the Eldora race now.
I'm putting my cash in on this guy.
So you're going to bet money now.
Wait.
I'm just kidding.
Joseph.
Joseph, who did you pick? Who did you pick? I was out for a minute. Who did you pick?
Stuart Friesen. I think he's
we're
going to
not
make
Friesen.
win an Eldora.
Joseph, be careful, man. Be careful.
I know, because guess what happened last race? He didn't last a single turn, did he?
Exactly.
Joseph, as someone who's
Be
been
careful,
on a
bro.
race before,
Don't do it.
Joseph, if someone's been on a race before, let's just say you're going to find a driver who cost Stuart Friesen the win, and you're going to despise him for the rest of the season.
I know how you feel about Michael McDowell in the Daytona 500. I don't bet money, but
Dude,
I did it once.
So Armani, you definitely despise McDowell for sure.
Michael
And we all
McDowell,
know, dude, you don't even have to say it. You just despise him. I know, bro.
it's a given.
you know, I said I only despise drivers who underperform and equipment are only in because of the cash. McDowell's my one exception. He's still dead to me. Cash is still a factor, just in a different manner.
Exactly.
Yeah, out of all of them, I think Harrison Burton probably has the best shot out of all of them. And here's something. I could see him kicking out Grant Enfinger.
Really?
See, Enfinger was my pick to win the whole damn thing before Chastain decided to join the party.
Ah.
Enfinger is my championship pick still. But if you were to kick out, and I know Enfinger's the points leader, 82-point advantage over the cutoff. I don't know. I could just, out of those three, I just see him getting kicked out. I can't really explain it.
Here's my take, and I'll be very clear. I don't like ranting. I don't like talking about, I understand I'm not a fan of the playoff system. I don't like going tangents about it as much as I used to, because when I rant about that, it gets my energy weak, because it's the same old argument. But I honestly feel like the Truck Series chase should have 10 drivers, while the Xfinity Series playoffs should have 8.
So what about the Cup Series?
Honestly, I wish if
Should it be narrowed down to 12 instead of 16?
All of them should have 10, in my opinion. If you're going to have playoffs, 10. Just 10.
So
That's
10?
It's unfair. For the
And
truck. Okay,
so let me ask you this.
no, go ahead.
So if like the end of every race, every race in the playoffs, which is like 10 races, right? So would you knock out 2 every 10 races?
Well, I want to have a knockout for. I mean, if you're going to go with the playoff format, the 2004 is the best one. That's how I would do it. But if we're going to go with the knockout format with 10 drivers, yeah, I would knock out 2 drivers, 2 or 3.
The whole not to interrupt, but the whole argument against the playoff system, just use Justin Haley at Daytona. Bam. There you go.
Really?
Well, I know exactly. He had that win because of the rain, but now even Spire, they're 31st or whatever in Motorsports. I mean, the whole damn system needs to be revamped.
Yeah, for sure.
Chastain would be in the Xfinity and the Truck playoff.
He can only choose one.
Well, I know. Just don't even have any of it.
Oh, yeah. I prefer no playoffs in general, but if I had to pick a system, 2004.
Yeah, just the original one where points are awarded. Here's my like I said, if you're Tyler Ankrum, and I said, I don't, did I say this last podcast? I may or may not. But Tyler Ankrum, in my humble opinion, nothing against him. I like him. He's a great person, a great driver. He's skilled. He does not deserve to be in a playoff position over
Yeah.
first place and having missed the first 3 races of the season, and then joining a start and park team, Joe Nemechek's 87 car, and then suddenly winning at Kentucky. How does that make sense? That he gets a ticket to compete for a championship, and that's my question.
It doesn't, because we can't have nice things.
But
Well, you even use that. You can even say about Sauter. Got suspended.
Oh yeah. By the way, before we continue, Danny said he'll be right back. He's gonna go do something real quick. But yeah, Sauter, like, she just had a bad season. And it's like, yeah, I don't think. Well, here's the thing. If we were to do it just on points, Anchor would be out, Chastain would be out, and Sauter would be out, if I'm not mistaken. I think even Gilliland would be in because he's like 7th in the standings.
Yeah, and
Gilliland would be out.
Here's my thing though. This system might come to the expense of drivers like Grant Enfinger, Stuart Friesen, Matt Crafton, and Ben Rhodes. I mean, maybe not Ben Rhodes. Sheldon Creed.
Well, Sheldon Creed is 9th in the standings, so it's like he wouldn't be in either way. Like, he would be out, Sauter, Ankrum, Chastain.
The system would be completely different.
Yeah.
So
to me, the truck and Xfinity series, they don't need a playoffs. There's too little full time, especially in the truck series. It's only like 12 or 13 full time entries. Like, they don't need a playoff system.
This is the thing about the playoffs. Like, now we're coming to Eldora, and what if somebody surprises everyone?
North Bending wins the race and makes it to the playoffs.
Okay, not that extreme. What if
somebody like a Chase Briscoe wins Eldora?
Well, he wouldn't make the chase. He's registered for Xfinity.
And then you've got some other random guy, Jordan Anderson's second truck.
I mean,
if he finishes second, just hypothetically.
Yeah.
Hypothetically.
But Jordan Anderson's like 13th in the standings or something.
15th. Yeah.
Yeah, so.
Man, I think you got 5 or 6 making their one-off truck starts at Eldora.
Oh yeah, Eldora for the truck series is like Daytona 500 for the Cup series.
All right.
The one everyone wants.
So what you got kind of race.
Yeah.
See if they have the entry list pulled up. Oh yeah, it's posted by Front Stretch.
32 entries, so basically everyone's making it in.
Actually, no. Only 30 trucks can make it. I'm not mistaken. I don't know. There's a certain number. I'm going to pull this.
Oh, if you guys want to pull out that entry list, we'll move on to the IndyCar series.
So here's some notables in the dirt, from the dirt background. We got, of course, Sheldon Creed, Carson Husvar in Jordan Anderson's truck. Jake Griffith. He's going to be in a truck fielded by Michael Lafrano. Tim Ward in the number 06, or Tim Wall. I can't read that. Let's see. Devin Dodson driving for Ray Elm Brothers. Jeffrey Abbey in East Motorsports. And of course, you have Stuart Friesen from Ontario. Justin Shipley in the number 80 for Jacob Walls Racing. That's another one off. The one thing about Eldora, however, is you got the heat races that determine your position starting.
I remember the heat races last year felt so long.
Oh, so here we go. We have Tim Ward, Colt Gillen or actually no, Colt Gilliam, Mike Marlar, Mark Smith, Devin Dodson, Darwin Peters Jr., and Mike Harmon struck Devin Dodson, Mark Smith, and Mike Marlar in the Rayom trucks, Tim Ward in the number 08, Colt Gilliam in Nemco's number 8 truck, Carson Husfer in the 3 for Jordan Anderson. And of course, you have Jake Griffin, the number 03, Justin Shipley, the 80, Kyler Strickler, who's in the 54 for DJR Crosby Racing, Jeffrey Abbey, and Nice Motorsports 44. This reminds me of Bobby Pierce in the Mittler Brothers 63, who nearly scored them a victory.
Who won the Force Eldora race?
The inaugural race I'm pulling up right here was Austin Dillon in 2013 in the Mud Summer Classic for RCR. 2014, I have the whole list right here. Bubba Wallace for KBM. KBM went 2 in a row because in 2015 you had Christopher Bell. That was his very first truck win, by the way. Kyle Larson won 2016 for GMS Racing. Matt Crafton won 2017 for ThorSport, and ThorSport won back-to-back in 2018 with Chase Briscoe.
All right. Well, we'll talk more about our picks later on. And so, I think we covered everything for the truck series. So let's move on from the NASCAR side of things. We'll be going to Mid Ohio. The NTT IndyCar Series visited Mid Ohio for the Honda Indy 200. We got a fantastic finish with Scott Dixon and Felix Rosenquist, 2 Ganassi teammates. The 5-time champion veteran versus the rookie looking for his first win. What did you guys think?
I thought it was best race of the year by far.
Yeah, I think personally the Mid Ohio race did not disappoint. The finish was entertaining between 2 teammates, 2 hard-charging teammates. We have a veteran, a 5-time champion of the IndyCar Series from New Zealand, battling out a Swedish rookie teammate, Felix Rosenquist, who threw jabs at him as much as he can to the very end. And that gave the win, of course, to – and then I'm giving the win to Scott Dixon, who led 38 laps to win the race. Rosenquist gets a career best finish of 2nd, and Dixon scores his 6th career win at the Mid-Ohio track. And Ganassi, of course, 1 and 2. Let's take a look at the top 10 results. 3rd place, 2nd podium of 2019 is Ryan Hunter-Ray. Will Power comes home 4th. Alexander Rossi, who is 2nd in points, finishes 5th. Simon Pagano, 6th. Spencer Pickett, 7th. Colton Herta, 8th. Graham Rahal and Jack Harvey, your top 10 at the Mid-Ohio Sports Car Course yesterday.
Shout out to Jack Harvey. I know he's not running the full schedule, but that Meyer Shank, they've looked better than Schmidt Peterson. And they're aligned with Schmidt Peterson very well. And that team has looked a lot better than them.
Armani, I could tell you. Say what you want about Colton Herta, and it was Justin. I'm stealing this one from Justin because he said it first. Put Colton Herta in the 26 car, which is currently driven by Zach Veach.
I agree. I agree with that one. Because I'll give like I said, shout out to Jack Harvey, but yeah, I'd say put Colt Herta in the 26 because Zach Veach, I mean, he's doing nothing. But I gave him a pass on his rookie season. His rookie season, I expect him to do well. Usually, I give drivers 3 years to develop. After 3 years, if they don't do anything, then I say, okay, they need to get out of here. So, I'll give Zach Veach. I still gotta give Zach Veach his 3rd season, but he's not doing anything. Like I said before, Andretti is split into 2: drivers who actually compete and drivers who are just field fillers. And Zach Veach falls into the field fillers category.
Yeah, and I agree.
So if Colton Herter replaces Zach Veach in the 26, it wouldn't bother me. But yeah, let's talk about Joseph Newgarden. What the hell did he do on that final lap?
Wild block. My humble opinion.
He tried to make a pass on Ryan Hunter-Reay. He should have just, like, you're in the points lead. You're in a tight battle for the championship, and because of that, you gave up like 13 points on Rossi. And think about the tracks that are coming up: Pocono, Gateway. What? I think we go to like Portland. These are tracks that favor Rossi. Like, we're going into a Rossi heavy dominant part of the season, or track-wise. So Newgarden needs to salvage any position that he can get. And so by doing moves like that, he might have just thrown away the championship with that one move, like Rossi did at Detroit last year.
That might have cost him. I think it did. What's everyone's take? I think Newgarden he jumped the gun too soon. And
definitely. If he had laid back, I mean, there's no doubt he looked like he could have made that pass on Hunter-Reay easily. But that one move probably, in all likelihood, cost him the championship.
Well, he's still 16 points ahead of Rossi, but again, we're going to a part of the season where these tracks favor Rossi more than anything. Iowa was like Newgarden's last chance at being his track, and he won the race, so he did his part. But what he did in Mid-Ohio, he probably just threw it all away.
Yeah.
And think about it. Pagano, he's good at Gateway. Dixon is good at Portland. We don't know. We don't know what's going to happen at Laguna Seca. Like Laguna Seca, like anyone can
win.
But if we're gonna go based off like Sonoma, because Laguna Seca and Sonoma, they're in the same area. They're not entirely different. It would favor Dixon if we're going off Sonoma standpoints. But again, it's completely different. So I still think Dixon is too far out. I think it's still going to come out between Rossi and Newgarden.
He's really gonna have to win the last few races before the championship.
Oh yeah, if Dixon didn't win Mid-Ohio, I'd count him out immediately.
Oh yeah. And I, as a Dixon fan, is saying that too. I would be disappointing. I would be disappointed to say that, but the truth is the truth,
Yeah, it is.
All right, so we'll give you a look at the point standings, and we'll just show you how much damage this did to Newgarden. So, actually, hold on. Someone look up the point standings. Actually,
I have it in hand.
No. From after Iowa, because I want to compare how that move by Newgarden just damaged him really bad.
After Iowa.
Well, here. If you got the point standings, you got the point standings from right now.
I have the point standings from the last race too.
Oh, okay. So here,
Joseph, you definitely got it, buddy.
Okay. So read
So
off the
after Iowa. Newgarden had a 29-point lead over Rossi.
Just read off the top 5.
All right. From after Iowa, Newgarden, Rossi, Pagano, Dixon, Power. Minus 29 for Rossi. Minus 38. No, that's minus 58 from Pagano. Minus 98 from Dixon. Minus 90. Minus 165 from Power.
Now, after Mid-Ohio, after that one move by Newgarden, Rossi is only 16 points back. Pagano only 47. Dixon only minus 62. Power is out of it. So like power on back, like it doesn't matter.
I think you can separate the top 4 from the rest of the field, and you'll basically find the 2019 championship contenders.
Exactly. And because none of these tracks suit Newgarden. The problem is none of these tracks are Newgarden dominant.
Right.
So maybe Gateway.
Gateway could favor him. But you got to remember,
Gateway might be his last. It might be his true last chance.
I don't think you should rule out Newgarden that fast. However, if you want to be statistically correct, take a look at Pocono of last year. Alexander Rossi walked away with the victory, made it look so easy. I'm sure he's got that track on the calendar ready to go. This Pocono 500 is mine. I bet he's saying that right now. He's 16 points behind.
Don't get your hopes up,
And
Rossi.
official. And not to mention, someone like Simon Pagenaud, who found success in the Indy 500 this year, might be thinking the same thing. He's 44 points behind. And then Scott Dixon is minus 62.
I'd say don't get your hopes up, Rossi.
Anything can
because
happen.
Anything can happen, buddy. You're right.
I mean, if we look at
The schedule coming up, it's Pocono, then I think Gateway after, then Portland, then Laguna Seca, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, I believe so. All right, so here's the last 5 races at Pocono. Essentially the last 7 since they returned in 2013. A 22-year hiatus. Alexander Rossi won last year for Andretti Autosport. 2 years ago, actually the last 2 races, 2016 and 2017, were won by Will Power. 2015 was won by Ryan Hunter-Ray. 2014 was won by Montoya. And 2013 was won by Scott Dixon. So there's a variety. You have the Ganassi with Dixon, and of course the Penske of Pablo Montoya and Andretti. Andretti had 2 wins in the last 4 races. Ryan Hunter-Ray and Alexander Rossi, and of course back-to-back with Will Power. I think Will Power is the unsung hero because everybody's talking down about him. Yet we come to Pocono in 2 weeks' time, 2-3 weeks' time, and we seem to forget he won back-to-back. He knows how to make work to his advantage, and this is the only other 500-mile race besides Indy itself.
All right, so I think that's everything for IndyCar. Anything else before we move on to F1?
You got to take your scrapbook from May out of the duster and apply it to Pocono.
All right, I think that's everything. So let's move on to Formula One. What the hell was that race?
Got these notes right here.
I knew you were going to be upset.
I have everything written down. This was the race of the weekend, in my opinion, of all the events that took place, of everything that happened. The German Grand Prix in Hockenheim did not disappoint at all. And in fact, I woke up late for the start. I was just tired. Didn't have it in me. Kind of in and out of watching the 24 Hours of Spa and getting ready for my final exams. Oh, mind you, I'll also get into the paper I'm writing about in Formula One in short moments of time. Let's talk about the race first. Max Verstappen scores his 2nd win of the season and 7th of his career, tying Juan Pablo Montoya on the list. Sebastian Vettel, what a story for him. He had an abysmal qualifying session, never even made it out of the pits due to a mechanical problem. And guess what? He finished 2nd from 20th on the grid. And I'm kind of a Vettel fan, so this felt like a grand victory.
Oh, man.
And going on to the final podium spot. Hold on. Keep talking about the podium while give me a second. I need to keep talking about the Formula One. Well, I just need to do something real quick.
Okay, so about the Formula One though, we entered the German Grand Prix with Mercedes on the headlines. Mercedes, of course, this is their home Grand Prix.
Right.
They usually have the upper end, if not already. And Lewis Hamilton was at the brink of making history, meeting Michael Schumacher on the list of wins trying to break the 4 wins barrier, and we're trying to reach 4 wins. But when we started the race, it was a dry track. We knew rain was on the horizon.
Right.
And right off the bat, it was Sergio Perez who crashed on lap 1 and retired from the race. Seemed like a typical Lewis Hamilton start first, finish first deal. And Valtteri Bottas reigns the second spot, most of the opening stages from the race. And then moving forward, this was when things started to become...
Everyone just decided to die.
Yeah.
It was... I have my notes here. Lap 29, when Charles Leclerc slid into turn 16 and hit the barriers, creating the safety car. And once that safety car was deployed, because he was stranded, there was nothing anyone else could do. And the track was just so slick to the point where Lewis Hamilton, leading the race, comes to the same corner, turn 16, and messes up exactly, almost hits the stranded Charles Leclerc car, hits the barrier, and that eventually, lucky for Lewis, the pits were right there, even though I think it's the Bullock he ran over, which gave him a time penalty. It could have been worse for Hamilton, but that's when the safety car was deployed and things started to go haywire real fast.
Very haywire.
Oh yeah, Bottas decided to die. Hulkenberg, Ricardo, Gasly, everyone just decided to just die.
Engine failures.
Engine failures, spinning in the rain, wrecks, just craziness.
Yeah.
It was a circus show, in a way.
And think about this. Danny Kvyat almost had a shot at winning this race.
So did Lance Stroll. I'm not kidding.
I mean,
I know. What the hell?
what in the geological oddity is going on?
I don't know. If you look at the top 10 results, Verstappen, Vettel, Kvyat, which by the way, we've been talking about Gasly's underperformed, and some of us say that Albon will go to the Red Bull car.
Nope.
Well, I've been the one advocator that Kvyat should get a return to Red Bull. These types of performances help. And wait, just in case if he does.
You could not live with your own failure. Where did that bring you? Back to me.
I'm not even joking. If they announce that Kvyat's going to Red Bull, I'm going to post a video on this channel of just that.
Okay.
Just that.
So let's talk about Danny Kvyat for a moment. This was the second ever podium for Toro Rosso in the team's history. The only other time they've reached the grand stage at the end of a Grand Prix was with Sebastian Vettel's surprise upset victory in the Italian Grand Prix 2008 at Monza.
I keep forgetting that Vettel won his first race with Toro Rosso.
Indeed, and that, like Germany, was in rain conditions, which came to the advantage of Sebastian Vettel. By the way, this is Daniel Kvyat's third career podium, his first since China of 2016. And his, obviously, first in a Toro Rosso. Let's talk about some of the other finishers, too. Lance Stroll, fourth. Best finish for Racing Point. His second career best finish. Third was his best in Azerbaijan in 2017. Carlos Sainz Jr., his best finish in a McLaren Alexander Albon's best career finish of 6th. Roman Grosjean and Kevin Magnussen. Finally, something good about Haas and F1. A double points race.
Yeah, and it only took the Alfa Romeo cars getting penalized.
That is true. Which leads me to talk about Lewis Hamilton, who luckily found his way back into the points paying position with 9th. And a special shout out to Robert Kubica, who finished 10th and gained his first points finish since Abu Dhabi in 2010. And for Williams, their first points finish since the Italian Grand Prix of 2018, when both cars finished in points. So it's been almost an entire year since Williams scored points.
Williams scored a point. What the fuck was this race?
But seriously,
You know, I thought if anyone was going to score points for us, it was going to be Russell, because Russell's been better than Kubica. Sorry to say.
we know that's a fact.
Good for Kubica. Good for Williams. But that's all you need to know how hectic this race was. When Williams scores a point, I know it's 10th. I know it's a point. I know I'm making it sound like it's a bad thing. It's not a bad thing. But still, just that alone gives it. By the way, we need to send Justin an invite. I'll do it right now. But that just gives you an idea of how this race went. Like, this race was literally just, what did I watch? Like, it looked like I was watching an NASCAR heat race.
In a way, I can agree. Listen, the German Grand Prix was a surprise entertainment show for everybody. When in doubt, we saw this as just another 2019 Formula One Grand Prix event that consists of Mercedes doing what they do best, finishing 1 and 2 with Lewis Hamilton on top. He started on pole. He was in range for that record-breaking win. However, that was not meant to be, and just misfortunes happened. And let's also talk about the other Mercedes car, Valtteri Bottas, who, of course, let's talk about, first of all, positions, the non-points paying positions, starting with P11, George Russell, best career finish, still the only driver without any points so far in Formula One this year is Russell, the reigning F2 champ. Then you have Kimi Räikkönen, who started, was it 5th? Yeah, 5th. I think it was 5th. He got a time penalty as well as Giovinazzi.
Hey, there's Justin.
How's it going, Justin?
I'm good.
Welcome back.
Yeah.
Yeah, buddy.
All right, Joseph, continue with the not points.
So, yeah, George Russell, best career finish of 11th. Kimi Räikkönen and Antonio Giovinazzi with the Alfa Romeos getting time penalties, so they finished 12th and 13th.
And then everyone else was just dead.
14th, yeah, he had an accident. And then now here's the list of retired drivers from 15th to 20th, starting with, of course, the highest driver. Valtteri Bottas crashed on lap 56. Nico Hülkenberg crashed on lap 39. Charles Leclerc had his incident on lap 27. Lando Norris had a power failure,
Yeah.
as well as Daniel Ricciardo
Right.
and Sergio Perez crashed on lap 1. Additional notes, Lewis Hamilton led the first 29 laps from pole position until the incident, and Max Verstappen also, he took the lead since, and at the same time, Max earned the fastest lap award, which, believe it or not, still applies to the Crazy Rain races
Yeah.
in Formula One. Ferrari remains winless, and the race was shortened to 64 laps due to weather.
Yep.
What's your take, guys?
Oof.
I have no answer.
Like I don't know. The
It's-
weird weather. I didn't expect that weather to happen. Like I didn't expect the weather to be that bad. Like I didn't expect to see like both. I didn't expect to see. I literally did not expect to see for like Williams with a point. That's what I didn't expect. I didn't expect to see Kvyat on the podium. in a Toro Rosso.
Hey, you just missed my Thanos meme.
Like, I'm so confused when I saw the results. I'm like, what? Because I was gone for like lap 28 and on.
That's it. That's literally, Justin. Literally, that exact word is how you describe the German Grand Prix. Just what?
Like
That's it. That's all you can describe it as.
Exactly.
The last thing I saw was the crash, Leclerc's crash on lap 27. That's the last thing I saw because I was gone. When I came back, I'm like, oh, I wonder who won. When I saw Verstappen, I'm like, what happened to Hamilton? And because I saw Hamilton, but I thought he could recover. I didn't expect to see back markers up front. I didn't expect to see that. When
Well,
I saw
to be fair, with the wet weather and the track under rain conditions, that kind of racing surface opens the door for those lesser funded teams in Formula One, those subpar.
The best of the rest.
Exactly. Besides
Well,
the top 3 teams.
I'm looking at the points right now.
Yeah, here I got him right here.
Hamilton's leading by 41 over Bottas.
Verstappen 63 back.
And then Vettel 84, Leclerc's 105.
Yeah.
Then Pierre Gasly minus 170, Carlos Sainz minus 177, Kvyat moves up to 8th minus 198, Kimi Räikkönen 200 back in 9th, and then we got a tie for 10th with Lando Norris and Daniel Ricciardo minus 203.
Hey, don't know what else is funny? There's a tie for 18th. Kubica and Giovinazzi each have 1 point. They're tied. They're tied back there.
I'm honestly a little worried about Giovinazzi, especially because his teammate Kimi Räikkönen, we know he's a champion.
He's a veteran.
Skilled driver who's raced in F1 in the last 17, 18 years.
Go check something.
Well, you already
He's
knew
ninth in the standings, while Giovinazzi is 10 points behind in 19th. Actually, he has 25 points, while Giovinazzi has only claimed one.
He has 18.
Well, to be fair, Giovinazzi would have had more if it wasn't for that penalty.
Yeah,
that is true. That is absolutely true. But still,
you're right.
The other races do apply.
I think he would have overtaken Grosjean. Because think about it. If they never had that penalty, Grosjean would still only have 2 points.
Yeah. Grosjean is right now. Where is he? He's so far in 17th with 8 points. Kubica and Giovinazzi each have 1 point.
Here's an interesting question I have for you guys. Do you see like a Carlos Sainz or Danny Kvyat or Kimi Räikkönen or whatever? Do you see any of them taking 6 in the standings away from Pierre Gasly? Sainz is only 7 points back.
If Sainz can put up a good podium finish, you think he'll do even better.
I just don't know about McLaren.
I think Sainz is the man to raise McLaren up, lift them higher. He's right now 7th in points. Norris is 10th. Carlos Sainz does get the good runs.
Yeah, but it's just next race is at
Hungaroring.
Yeah.
The Hungary Grand Prix, round 12.
But what's McLaren's best finish there is the problem.
Here's the thing. They have, okay, to be fair, McLaren has the most wins at Hungary with 11, but the times were different back then.
Yeah, like
the last time McLaren won at Hungary was Lewis Hamilton in 2012.
Yeah, that was the last time McLaren's won in general.
Yeah, because just looking.
I have the stats right here.
Hey, do you know what?
What?
The last 4 races at Hungary, guess who are the winners? The last 4 races. Vettel in 2015, Hamilton 2016, Vettel in 2017, then Hamilton in 2018. Because in 2015 and 2018, it rotates between Vettel and Hamilton in the last 4 years. Because Vettel won 2015, then Hamilton won the next year in 2016, then Vettel won again in 2017, and then Hamilton won last year. It's a rotation.
So what you're saying is Vettel's going to win.
No, you never know. It depends how Ferrari does if they don't have issues, and it depends how the weather is.
Everything varies in a race.
And also,
Yeah.
2014, the last non-Hamilton or Vettel winner, Ricardo, 2014.
So I'm looking at the list of multiple winners. Just add a fun fact. Or the inaugural race was 1986. Nelson Piquet got the win. This is the first F1 race that Bernie Ecclestone made, and the idea for the Hungary Grand Prix was to have a Formula One event inside the Iron Curtain. Of course, talking politically, 1986 was the first race won by Nelson Piquet. Now, here's the multiple winners. Lewis Hamilton has the most with 6 wins, 3 for McLaren, and 3 for Mercedes. They even out 2007, 09, 12, 13, and then 16, 18.
Yeah.
And then 4 wins for Michael Schumacher, 1994, 1998, and 2001, 2004. Ayrton Senna with 3, 1988, 91, 92. And 6 drivers have 2 wins at Hungary. And I've noticed a trend. Most of them are consecutive victories that drivers have at this track. Nelson Piquet won the first 2 races in 1986 and 87. Damon Hill, 1993 and 95. Jacques Villeneuve, 1996 and 1997. Mika Hakkinen, 1999 and 2000. Jenson Button, 2006 and 2011. And Sebastian Vettel, 2015, 2017. So
Wait, I'm confused here. I'm looking at it. McLaren won 3 times between 07 and 09. Hamilton won 07, 09. Kovalainen won in 2008.
Heikki Kovalainen
Yeah.
is his only win.
Hamilton, Kovalainen, Hamilton. Then Webber won in 2010 for Red Bull. Then McLaren, Mercedes, Red Bull, Ferrari, Mercedes. Oh, I just realized I was on the race results at Hungarian. It's the first time we have an F2 race since 2012. That used to be GP2. That's the first time that the F2 is racing in Hungary. Just realized that.
Right.
Yeah.
Also, the thing about the Hungary Grand Prix and the Hungaroring, it's a complex track. The corners are very weavy.
Yeah.
And that usually favors someone like Lewis Hamilton. But at the same time, Sebastian Vettel has a better corner exit. Sometimes, I know he's not as audacious when he enters a corner, but when he exits a corner, he's a force to be reckoned with. My question is, can Max Verstappen win 2 in a row?
I don't know. Depends how his car is.
Well, both times he's qualified second this year, he's won.
Yeah, that's true.
But it's like if he has a shot at it, he'll try to win. If he has a good shot at winning,
I think he does.
I'm just gonna check something.
All right, I think that's everything for Formula One. So unless you guys have anything else to say, let's move on to.
Oh, I just want to say, this is off topic about Formula One, but this is breaking news. This was earlier today. Renault, the team truck for Renault, had a road accident.
Yep, I heard that.
Yeah, I saw the truck. Like, dang, how the hell did that happen?
I don't know.
Easy hydroplaning. I can't speculate. It's not my part as a commentator to speculate. But yeah, that's certainly breaking news. Lewis Hamilton, has a 35-point lead?
He has a 41-point lead.
A 41-point lead.
Yep.
All right, so I think we're done with Formula One. So let's move on to. What do you guys want to move on?
Sports cars. Talk about the Spa 24
No,
hour.
supercars.
Oh, supercars. We'll talk about that first.
Wait, let me go.
Okay, Eddie got excited for that one.
Joseph.
Racing reference. Come on.
Joseph, dude.
Give me a cookie. You know my
Shut up.
Snapchat story.
Hey, don't say that.
Hey, it's fine.
Hey,
Dude,
people say-
wait, hold on,
people
Justin.
On the podcast,
Hold on, Justin. Hold on. because Joseph keeps shoving it in my face how Jamie Winkup, the guy I despise the most in supercars, he shoves it in my face because he finally gets the win. And when Scott McLaughlin gets the win and he gets penalized, he also shoves it in my face. So Joseph, what is the problem here?
Danny's like, listen, Joseph, this can go two ways. Either you can shut up or I can stick my foot in your mouth.
Exactly.
Well, oof. I hope nobody got offended by that.
I'm not.
No, the viewers. If there's an 8-year-old watching.
Oh, hopefully.
Well, you never know.
And they're gonna learn this. They're gonna learn this anyway. Might as well
Yeah.
get better.
Okay,
early.
well, let's get back into the gist of things in the supercars. So, for week 15, I'm trying to pull up. Oh yeah, I got the stats right here. So for supercars at Ipswich, week 9 of 15, rounds 19 and 20 of 32. So let's talk about race 1, and we'll talk about race 2. Start off with race 1, which was on Saturday. Jamie Winkup holds off the win, his first of 2019.
Yeah. Then we had Will Davison, second.
Chaz Mostert, third.
McLaughlin, fourth. And Shane Van Gisbergen
In fifth.
Here's the rest of the top 10. Cameron Waters, sixth. Lee Holtzworth, seventh. Nick Burkett, David Reynolds, and Fabian Coulthard round up the top 10 for race 1 at Ipswich.
Wow.
And
so now it's like David Reynolds used to challenge us for a win.
See, I think David Reynolds was going to win if Holden would find victory and someone could stop Scott McLaughlin. First of all, talk about McLaughlin for a very brief moment in his average finish.
Okay.
So we go. Okay, so his average finish. Okay, so McLaughlin won again yesterday. His average finish lies 1.9. 1.9. It's not like 5.3 or something. Even that's good, but 1.9, and his average star is 1.8. This is, and we'll talk about race 2 just a moment because I still want to finish up on race 1. McLaughlin finished 4th, which is impressive, but Jamie Winkup breaks through.
Wait, I'm just looking at it quickly.
Here's what. Listen, Shane Van Gisbergen winning at Townsville opened the door for Jamie Winkup to win at Ipswich. That's just my opinion.
So what you're saying is Danny's trigger that Jamie Winkup won.
I didn't ask if he was triggered or not. I asked if the idea of.
By the way, there was only 22 cars finished the race. 23rd, Tim Slade was out of fuel on lap 37, and Macaulay Jones had a fuel leak on lap 37. They were the only two that didn't finish the race. Yeah. And the points after race 1, 334 points. Coulthard second, 334. Is there any people close in points? Let me check.
Not really.
No, Davison is only a point ahead of Percat after race 1. Percat's 8.7, Davison 8.76 back after race 1. Nick Percat is 8.77, 1 point. That's Winterbottom minus 1,135 and Tim 1139 and Heimgartner minus 1152. Oh, Todd Hazelwood and Rick Kelly, they're close in points too, minus 1,300, and then Rick Kelly's minus 1,304. They're close.
How do you get minus 13? How?
ARCA has points like that too.
Well, the increments are different in supercars.
Like the point numbers, like
you get 150 points for a win in supercars.
Okay.
All right, so that's race 1. Let's talk about race 2 at Ipswich.
Dude.
Scott McLaughlin, a walk-off.
Then Then
50 laps
and
up to 65.
Mostert.
Walk off win, baby.
Well, that's only super.
And that's before the penalty started.
Honestly, I feel like the penalty was a little rubbish. I guess
That's what I'm saying.
I understand,
Care about penalties.
but here's the thing: it's a little funny. And to be fair, Scott McLaughlin deserves the runs he's having. There's no reason why anything should be taken away from McLaughlin. Just like Win Cup in his dominant years, McLaughlin is putting the Fords on top. The Penske cars are ruling. And as a result, here's the point standings after 20 races.
430.
Scott McLaughlin has 2,438 points, 433 points behind. And second is Fabian Coulthard.
Then
Shane Van Gisbergen is third,
Mostert
minus 520 points.
Then Mostert 540, and then Win Cup.
Mostert's fourth, and Win Cup is fifth.
Yep.
I think the unsung hero is really Chaz Mostert.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm looking at this right now. There's only one car out.
Listen, the Tickford Racing, in my opinion, like Tickford Racing deserves more credit than they're getting. Usually, everybody jumps to conclusion when they talk about Penske's Ford versus the Holdens of 888 in the HRT, but I feel like it's just that quiet driver is Chaz Mostert, and he's assumed that role. And even then, he won one of the races at Melbourne, and has so far 9 podiums this year. Not disappointing at all.
But it's the Scott McLaughlin series, and Scott McLaughlin just he's just like literally, it's like the race starts, and then it's just like.
Whoa. I'm looking at. Okay, I'm kind of last place did not finish the race. Gary Jacobson blew an engine on lap 49, so he got no points. That Jack LeBrock, number 19, he got 36 points by finishing 23rd. Gary Jacobson did not get points because he was out of the race. Finished last with a blown engine on lap 49.
Unfortunately, things are still looking good for. Wait, where is the Win Cup in points right now?
Fifth.
Well, he's still fifth.
Still 4 out.
Well,
640 points out. Do you really think he has a chance?
Well, Simona de Silvestro
With one race win.
Well, Silvestro,
give me a break.
Simona de Silvestro has
Eddie.
Yeah, I understand. But you drive for a Nissan, you ain't gonna put results in.
You never know. The high
Dude, you know what?
Seven.
Simona de Silvestro is one. What team does he drive for?
Drives for
Kelly Racing.
Kelly Racing.
Kelly Racing, right?
Yeah.
Kelly Racing in the Nissan.
Well, Kelly Racing got
what's her performance been like?
She's so far 20th.
Mediocre.
She's 20th in the
mediocre.
Yeah, sure. She's 20th in the standing. 20th place. I'm looking here. Her teammates, Hein Gardner and Rick Kelly, were 7th and 8th in the standing. No, they got 7th and 8th in the race. Let me go check. Hein Gardner's 13th. And Rick Kelly is 17th in the standing. And so De Silvestro is in 20th in the standing. So yeah, the best driver at that team.
And you also got to know Rick Kelly is the owner of the team.
Yeah. Heim Gardner.
And he's also been racing supercars since he was 18 in 2001.
Gardner's
so plus 18 years. Now he's 36.
I can't believe they did what they do.
Yeah.
Ignore that. Doesn't mean anything.
You feel like a baby.
Rick Kelly has 13 wins, 59 podiums, 12 poles.
Now, also, I could interpret that if you drive for the Nissan teams, usually Nissans they don't have the best advantage. I think the highest one in the last race was Andre Heimgartner,
Yep, and the number 7.
and as he stands, only 2 career podiums, one in a Nissan, the other in a Holden.
Like,
At the same time, Heimgartner, he does have his good runs. Just can't seem to crack the top 10 on occasion.
well,
Only
top 10. Him and Rick Kelly got 7 and 8th. That's good. 7 and 8th place.
And also, we have to know Nissan is heading out from supercars at the end of the season, if I'm not mistaken.
Hey, last place, Gary Jacobson is for Kelly Racing also. He blew up on lap 49. Gary Jacobson in the 3 car is for that race team also. He got 24th with a blown engine. So he's the only Kelly Racing car that did not finish. Well, 7 and 8th place.
Then we got to talk about the Fords. I think, like I said, Chaz Mostert, he's usually the unsung hero.
Holden, Ford. The top 6 was Ford, Holden, Ford, Holden, Ford, Ford. Then Nissan 7 and 8th, and then Holden again in 9th.
And let's talk about the team's championship for a second. And the 2019 Supercars Championship. So the team's championship after, well, actually, I guess Wikipedia didn't update, and I'm too lazy to go on another source.
I'm on.
It's
What? Let me go check something.
I'm a very bad influence.
Well, you can did you try going on the V8 Supercars website?
That sounds like a good idea.
Yeah. 'Cause I go on that or race. Like I check at those, like the actual source. I don't go on Wikipedia. The only time I go on Wikipedia is for people thinking that some random person is driving.
Yeah, usually they do that.
Because some people predict things that don't.
Exactly.
Let me check. Wait. What? Oh, come on. Website's being weird.
So yeah, I'm on the site right now. I didn't write down the team's championship.
Wait, where? Oh my god. Loading some things.
Oh, you look at championship points. I see it now. So for the team championship, Shell V Power Racing Team.
Yeah.
So far, they have 807 points ahead of the Red Bull Holden Racing Team.
Yep.
Auto Racing Team, Super Team Auto Racing, third minus 1,152 points. Penrite Racing minus 1,318.
And
Monster Energy Racing minus 1,340.
Yep. Wait, you know what's weird? I just was looking at. Hey, last place. Oh, Truck Assist Techno Racing is only 5 points behind Team Cool Drive Racing. Team Cool Drive is in 13. It's close for them.
It is.
Do you know what's funny? You know the Team Cool Drive team? Guess how much points they're minus? Minus 3,666.
Right, they're behind.
And then Truck Assist Techno Racing's minus 3,671.
Whoa, guys! Did you hear about the incident of a little arc with Bubba and Suarez on pit road?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Huh. I literally just saw it, so I'm like, okay.
I can't call her. I left a message. I have some pride. Do you? No.
I'm just literally looking at it.
Hi.
Hi,
it's Chandler. I'm fine. Listen, I don't know if you're trying to call me.
Check something.
Idiot that I am. I accidentally shut off my
Capital One says data breach affected 100 million customers. A data breach.
All right.
No,
Let's
that's all the.
without further ado, let's talk about the
NBC5.
next race weekend for supercars. It's at the Bend week 9, or actually that's
That's on NBC5.
week 10 of 15,
What?
and rounds 21 and 22 all
I don't know. I haven't
reached the.
read it yet.
We'll be nearing 10 races left in the season, as we're on week 10 of 15 for the supercars. That is on August 24th, so there's plenty of time to the next supercars race.
Yep.
Let's we'll go ahead and talk about some of the. We mentioned F1. Let's talk about sports cars and get involved with the 24 hours of Spa. The number 20 GPX Racing Porsche wins with driver Michael Christensen and Kevin Estra. And Porsche finished 1 and 2. The number 998 Row Racing Porsche finished second with driver.
Based on our information today, we believe it is likely that.
Let me just check something. Yeah, come on.
Wait, who won the Spa race?
It was the number 20 GPX Racing Porsche. Drivers Richard Lates, Michael Christensen, and Kevin Estra. The number 998 Row Racing Porsche finished second with factory drivers such as Frederick Makovicki, Patrick Pilet, and Nick Tandy. Literally the same driver lineups you see in the 24 Hours of Le Mans.
Who? Wait. Let me check. Lates Christian. Not just in Le Mans 24. They were also in the Rolex 24 also.
Or in the IMSA series.
Yeah, they were in that race too.
Factory drivers.
Then we have the number 25. Then Makovic, Pilet, and Tandy also raced in IMSA.
Oh, let's talk about the Ford, the Black Falcon AMG Mercedes. Kelmer Berlin and Stoll.
Yep.
Fourth place, the number 25, St. Tolic, St. Tolic Racing Audi. Highest finished Audi, Marcus Winkelhock, Fredrik Versovich, and Christopher Haas. Those guys won the Nürburgring 24 hours.
Yeah.
If I'm not mistaken. Well, actually, one of the Audis today. I think it was the one with jury transfer. Fifth place, 198. Row Racing Porsche of Dirk Mueller, Romain Dumas, and Matthew Jaminet.
What? Are you talking about the 998? Wait, the 998?
198.
I thought you said the 998.
Actually, that's the 98. I read that wrong.
Why for me, 998 has Makovic, Pilet, and Tandy.
Yeah, they finished second. Sixth place was the highest finishing NSX, the Honda Team Motul NSX, Mario Fahnbacher, Ranger van der Zande, and Belgium's own Bertrand Baguette. Seventh place, we had the 99 Row Racing Porsche, Olsen, Campbell, and Werner.
Wait, that's the 99 finished 6th. 7th is the 999. Wait, I don't.
Recheck it. The 999 got 10. That's actually the Mercedes. 8th place is the Orange One FFF Racing Team Lamborghini. Then
Okay, the website was glitched. So the website was working weird, and now it's updated everything.
9th place is the 117 Goose Team 75 Bernard Porsche of Earl Bamber, Timo Bernhardt, Laura.
Hey, John, I just realized.
What?
Those 3 drivers are going to be at Run America. They're going to be racing at Run America.
The majority of the top 10 will be racing at Run America.
Yeah, they'll be racing in the.
You know what?
Said you looked very pretty the other day.
Oh, yeah, my phone.
Then it's.
I don't know.
Hour and dot 10 from the Mercedes AMG.
I don't know. Whatever's on here.
Okay, let's also talk about the 999 Mercedes finished at the top in 10th. Mercedes AMG Group A Mercedes, that's Buick, Hauer, and Gotts. Okay. As for sports car racing and the endurance drivers, they'll all be at Road America this weekend for IMSA's WeatherTech Sports Car Championship round 9 of 12 at Road America.
Yep.
Elkhart Lake, Wisconsin's famous track will have a 2-hour 45-minute race.
2-hour 45. That was 2-hour 40.
Huh.
I think it's
All
2
classes participating, so the DPIs are returning for the first time since
Wait.
Motorsport.
Actually, the race is 2 hours 40. 2 hours 40.
Yeah, I know.
You said 2 hours 45.
Oh, okay. All right. Last year's winner was the number 50 for Core Autosport, Oreca, which was driven by John Bennett and Colin Brown. Mind you, of course, those are LMP2s back when they were in the same category with the DPIs in the prototype class, which of course they're separated now. Let's see.
Oh God. I'll be right there, Bernice.
Let's talk about the classes going into Road America. Who has the upper end in DPI cars?
Oh, that's hard. I'm
I
looking at
want to say Penske with the number 6. I mean, they've been really strong as of late.
I'm just looking at the entry right now.
I'm still gonna marry him.
Hmm.
What are you talking about? Andy, the guy is the devil. He's Satan himself. I know he's not.
Okay.
Are we giving our Road America picks?
I still really.
Gonna check something.
Let's talk about GTLMs for a moment. Porsche was strong in the 24 hours of Spa. And let's not forget, I totally forgot to mention this. The 24 hours of Spa had a long rain delay, kind of like the Daytona race this year.
Interesting.
Heavy rain, and they were red flagged. It was.
Really? Yeah. You know,
I mean, it was so undrivable that.
Now I know.
Wait.
Basically, the first red flag was shown at 6:00 local time, and then the cars remained there at 8 p.m. And actually, they remained there on Sunday morning till 11:30 local time. Very Daytona-like, I must say.
So was that everything for sports cars?
Well, let's talk about Road America picks for a moment.
All right, so we'll move on to our picks. So, round 2 of the World Racing Media Championship begins this weekend. We got all 3 NASCAR series once again. Trucks with the Eldora Dirt Derby, and obviously the Cup and Xfinity Series going to Watkins Glen. We got IMSA Road America. We got F1 at the Hungarian Grand Prix. Anything else that I forgot?
Miscellaneous events, which that will be for later.
Yeah. All right. So we'll start off with our Road America picks for IMSA. Usually I go last, but I'll go first for this one. I'm gonna play it safe. I'm gonna go with the Acura Penske number 6. They just been so good this season with Dane Cameron. And
I'm gonna have to go with the 86 as well too, buddy. I'm with
you're talking about GTD or
GTD,
I'm talking.
yes.
Oh, we're talking about DPIs first.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Yeah. But we'll get into GTDs in a moment.
Yeah, we're doing each class. The highest, we start with the faster class as the DPIs.
All right, but as for the DPIs, we saw diversity, and the Mazdas are finally clicking. They won the last 2 races. I think they're going to make a trifecta and win again with the number 55 car. Don't count them out. They're going to win Road America. Just
All right.
For my pick, last year, the number 31 Whelen Engineering Racing Cadillac led the most laps. I'm going to pick him. The number 31 will be driven by Philippe Nasser and Pipo Derani. Will find victory lane since their last win at Sebring in the number 31.
All right. Danny, what about you? Well, we already know your GTD pick.
Yeah. It says he's on mute. He's on
Yeah.
mute now.
Well, he's got till the race starts to put in a
Well,
pick.
let's talk about the.
Let's talk about
LMP2,
GTD.
LMP2, there's only 2 cars, so it's one or the other. The
Yeah,
38 or the 52. For some reason, like there's GTLM, but there's 8 cars, but LMP2, you have 2 choices: the 38 or the 52. Not much.
Okay, the 30 and the 52, they've been clashing all season long, and in the championship points so far, they're separated by 2.
But who's the leader, the 38 or the 52?
The 30.
Like Performance Tech Motorsports has Castles and French.
It's the 52
Okay.
PR1 Motorsports over the 38 Performance Tech.
So the 52 is Matthew McMurray and Patrick Kelly of the drivers of the 52.
Yeah.
For some reason, LMP2, I think it's the 52.
Yeah, the 52, and usually the races end laps apart.
Yeah, I feel like the 52 probably. GTLM. 8 cars in GTLM.
I don't know why I picked BMW to win in Spa. I should have known the Porsches were going to win.
Well,
with the drivers that they had.
Like here,
because
they're factory drivers.
Exactly. You know, and they just had a better car.
Sure.
They just had a better car, man.
Oof. GTL.
Oh, Danny, while you're what's your DPI pick?
I'm gonna go with Mazda.
Mazda Motorsports, which car? The 77 or the 55?
77.
All right. What about you, Thomas? You got any picks for IMSA?
It says he's on mute again.
Unfortunately.
So for the DPIs, I'm going to go with, like I said, the Mazdas.
Yeah, for me, it was a 31 Cadillac.
And then for GTLM, I pick, I'm going to stick with the 912 Porsche.
GTLM, I'll go with the 911 Porsche.
Because it's either Amber or the Vantor, or Pile and Tandy.
Wait, let me check something. Oops, nope. Can't even type.
Also, for GTD, which is a much more wide variety class, I'm confident in the in this trend we're seeing here with Canadian winners, Aim Baxter Sullivan, PFAF Motorsports Porsche. I'm a Lexus guy. I believe the number 14, Aim Baxter Sullivan RCF GT3, driven by Jack Hawksworth and Richard Heiston, will win for the 3rd time this year at Road America.
For me, for GTLM, I think it's going to be the 67.
The 67.
They've won last year. They won with Briscoe and Westbrook last year. I feel they're going to have the same speed as last year. And win like last year. For GT Daytona, GT Daytona? I'm looking at a roof. I know the FAF Motorsports 9 won last time.
Yeah, at Lime Rock.
Yeah, I got the Porsche. I got him going back to back.
Stole it from the Acura.
I'm trying to find if it's a 9 or the 86. I'm trying to see.
The 86 is the Acura.
Yeah, with Farnbacker and Heinemann. I'm wondering. And then from the 9 is Campbell, Matt Campbell, and Zachary Robichon.
Yeah, Farnbacker drove the 30 NSX with Ranger Anderson and Bertrand Baguette at Spa to finish 6th last Sunday.
The 9 doesn't have the same utter driver as that. The 9 has.
But they have the same team, the same pit crew.
But Dennis Olsen, that drove the one of the drivers in the 9, he's in the 91 Wright Motorsports Porsche. So I feel like it's going to be the number 86 Meyershank Racing Acura with Mario Farnbacher and Trent Heinemann are going to get the win overall in their class. So I feel like it's going to be the 86 GT Daytona, the 86 Acura.
All right. So I think that's all for IMSA Road America. Let's move on to the Hungarian Grand Prix. Who do you guys got taking it all?
Oof.
You know, I think Hamilton's gonna have a redemption race in Hungary.
Such a wild pick. Who would have thought?
For me,
I picked Hamilton.
it's Hamilton
Last
because,
week, and I regret it.
like, Lewis Hamilton,
Dude, there's no surprise.
To be fair, no one thought that race was going to end the way it did.
I know, right?
yeah,
Honest-
I mean, I picked Pierre Gasly.
well, like, for me, I think it's Hamilton because also, I guess Hamilton had a cold too. He was racing with a cold at the same time.
He almost got sidelined, believe it or not.
Yeah, he actually almost did. But he still.
And to be honest, the chances of it happening
Yeah.
were pretty severe. Who would replace Hamilton in that situation?
Ocon.
Ocon, no.
Ocon would have done. Ocon or Van Dorn.
Oh, that
Stoffel Van Dorn. Yeah, he races in Formula E now, doesn't he?
was- yep.
They're both Mercedes drivers.
But Van Dorn and that would have been not good.
Stoffel drove for McLaren last year
Yeah, Ocon drove for
Force India / Racing Point.
and you know what happened last time
Mm.
when he remember what at Brazil. Whew, I remember when I saw that race.
When the backmark wants TV time, he'll do things.
Yeah, I didn't expect that to take out Verstappen, the leader.
I mean, we all know it wasn't intentional, but at the same time,
But-
here's the thing: I still believe in Ocon. Let's be real.
Just I don't know.
All right. Well, Joseph, who do you got for the Hungarian Grand Prix?
The Hungarian Grand Prix, I'm going with Sebastian Vettel. He's won here twice, both for Ferrari. Make that a trifecta.
All
You know
right.
what? I'm gonna change my pick and go with Sebastian Vettel.
Oh, really?
Yes.
And I want to talk about the paper I'm writing about in just a moment once we finish this.
All right. Thomas, who do you got winning the Hungarian Grand Prix?
We
I'm
all
gonna have
know
to
what
go
it's
with
about,
Vettel.
Joseph.
Oh,
Let's
okay.
say it together, Armani.
All right. In 1, 2, 3.
Team order.
Okay, seriously though, and I'm taking philosophy right now. I'm closing in on finals, and I have to write a freaking paper. So, what better concept of philosophical views and just ethics of racing are better to talk about than team orders in Formula One?
Why not?
But here's a good example. The 1966 Le Mans 24 Hours, you walk into any Ford dealership and the poster of the cars, formation 1, 2, and 3, crossing the line is almost a given at every single dealership. You look at the poster, the walls, and it's Ford pride, right? Everybody sees that as triumph. What they don't see was the unfair loss for Ken Miles and Denny Hulme.
Yeah.
They finished second. It was Chris Amon, and I think it was Amon and Dan.
All right. Well, I'll give my Hungarian Grand Prix pick. So, we've seen the trend: Vettel, Hamilton, Vettel, Hamilton, Vettel.
Yes.
I think that trend is going to get broken.
By who?
There's going to be back. It's going to be back to back for Mercedes, not for Lewis Hamilton, Valtteri Bottas 2.0 comes back out of the woods and wins the Hungarian Grand Prix.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a. Yeah, I think. Yeah. I think Bottas could have speed. Because he did have speed at. Oh my God. At Germany, but.
Yeah, Germany. We don't talk. Germany just.
Like, there was also water on the curb. There was too much water on the curb. And he
Turn
slipped.
16 was a nightmare.
Like that. Oh.
Germany happened. That's all I could say.
The thing about turn 16 is everybody found a way to make a mistake over there, and that's all what happened. You found a loss of grip, and doesn't somebody come on the radio and tell these drivers, "Hey, careful when you pass that part of the track, so you don't end up like Charles Leclerc or like Lewis Hamilton
or Nico Hulkenberg."
That too.
Or I don't even know.
Or how about Bottas?
Or basically everybody.
Well, I'm still shocked that Williams got a point.
Well, they got a point due to.
I thought it was Russell that would have got it because he's younger compared to Kubica that's not in his prime anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't expect that when I heard there
Russell.
was I saw 19th. I heard that Williams got Kubica got 10th. I'm like, what? I was confused.
All right, let's move on to. We'll move on to the NASCAR side of things. We'll start off with the two Watkins Glen races. We'll start off with the Xfinity Series, the Zippo 200. Leeches are in the race, and leeches that are actually going to make the race boring as hell.
Hey,
so, can we just pick Kyle Busch and move on?
Yeah.
No.
Oh, hell no.
You can pick other drivers too. This is a road course race at Watkins Glen that Kyle Busch has won only once.
Or is this the only leech in this race?
No.
though?
He's got Ryan
AJ
Blaney. How many wins does Ryan Blaney have at the Glen? 0.
Allmendinger?
All right, wait, everyone, talk one at a time. We can't hear all you all at the same time.
I was gonna say Ryan Preece in the 8 and Ryan Blaney in the 12. Those are the leeches. Kyle Busch, Ryan Blaney. Kyle Busch, Ryan Blaney, and Ryan Preece. 3 leeches.
All right.
So, you know what? Let's just pick Kyle Busch and just move on with it, man.
never know.
He's good. He's good at road courses. He's good at the Glen. He's won there twice.
No
One.
I don't think I've ever.
Here.
I don't think I've seen so much argument
Shit,
against picking Kyle Busch in an Xfinity race. What is this? We should be unanimously voting for Kyle Busch, but we're what is this?
Hey,
Okay, everybody,
hey.
let me tell you something right now, and I'll hold you up when I tell you. Okay, Penske has won 5 of the last 8 races at Watkins Glen in the Xfinity Series. And on that list of multiple winners, there's found Joey Logano with 3, not entered this year. Kurt Busch with 2. So that's 5 wins. Literally, those 5 wins came with 2 drivers, Joey Logano and Kurt Busch, and I think
not entered.
Okay, last.
Yeah, they're not even entered. Only Blaney.
And at the same time, the 2 drivers with the most wins is still Terry Labonte and Marcos Ambrose. Of course, they're not in the race. Ron Fellows ain't in the race either.
True. They're not in the race.
Penske has the most wins of all time at Watkins Glen with 7. Should Ryan Blaney be the pick here? Or how about Austin Cindric, a road course specialist?
Hey, you forgot someone else.
Oh.
AJ Allmendinger in the
AJ Allmendinger.
There you go.
There you go. Who do you guys got for the win?
I'm so lost. I have to pick one driver.
This is an MC. You can't pick multiple people.
This is you know what? Pot of a race.
Let's just go with AJ Allmendinger. I changed my mind on Kyle Busch.
Is he in the 10?
Yep, the 10 of Allmendinger.
Okay. All right. Who do the rest of you got?
I'll start with you. Go, Justin.
I'm just looking at.
Make it wise, Justin. Make it wise.
You got points to make up.
All right, I'm just taking a look here. Does anybody remember?
Oh, I got a pick.
All right, go.
John Allgaier won Road America and Mid Ohio last year in that 7 car.
He did. He was the road course ringer last year.
Yeah, so he has a good shot. He ran.
Let's see if he still got it.
Yeah.
Ever won
But
it?
my pick is still with all my niggas. So
Okay.
And
Now-
I think I should go with Rowdy himself, Kyle Busch. I know he has one win in 2017 at Watkins Glen and 2 Cup wins, 2008 and 2013, but it's never implemented in the Xfinity Series for some reason. However, I'm a believer. Rowdy's to victory lane. We'll see the bow Saturday, if not Sunday. But
All
Saturday,
right. What about you, Thomas?
I gotta go. I'm a digger.
Okay. Now, like you said before, Penske dominates Watkins Glen. They got a leech in the series, so I'm pretty sure they trade off Payne with Lagana. However, we're gonna see a first-time Xfinity Series winner at Watkins Glen. The Penske dominance is going to continue. Austin Cindric is gonna win the Zippo 200. Probably not. Kyle Busch is probably gonna win this race and make it a snooze fest. Let's move on.
okay, Armani, let's be serious. Austin Cindric is a road course specialist. He started in sports car racing.
I know. Why do you think I picked him?
His very first race was the 24 Hours of Spa, and he was 16 years old, and he's driving for Yerbis. Like,
Why do you think I picked him?
exactly, and I see why.
All right, now to the final end of the Cup Series doubleheader at Watkins Glen. We got the Gold Bowling at the Glen.
Yep.
Who do you guys got?
Ooh.
can Jimmy Johnson break his winless streak and get his first road course win?
Is
At
that
the
the
Glen?
road course. Oh,
You
at
guys-
the Glen.
He already won Sonoma.
No, oh yeah, you want us to know more. His
His
second
first
road
Watkins
course
Glen
win at the Glen. I say yes.
Okay,
Johnson's my pick.
Danny's going with the Dixon tactic. He's just gonna keep picking Jimmy Johnson until he wins.
It's not going to take place.
I'm trying to think.
I mean, it worked with Dixon, so why can't it work for Jimmy?
I'm trying to think.
Okay,
It's just so annoying when.
all right. So here's some facts from the Watkins Glen race, and I have some fun facts right here. The inaugural event was in 1957, won by Buck Baker. There was 2 other races held at the Glen,
Buck Baker will win.
and no, 1964 5, and then of course 1986 was the first race when the Glen was stapled on the Cup Series calendar, won by Jeff Bodine. Last year's winner was Chase Elliott. I'm just looking here. Okay, who has the most wins? Tony Stewart with 5, Jeff Gordon with 4, Mark Martin with 3, Wallace, Ricky Rudd, Marcus Ambrose, Kyle Busch with 2. And guys might call me crazy, but I believe William Byron will score his first career win at Watkins Glen.
I could see that happening. He did finish 6th there last year. I could see that happening.
I'm okay. Alex Bowman won. People thought Alex Bowman was due to leave Hendrick. He won at Chicago. There's 2 top 10 so far in William Byron's career. Second place Daytona, and recently
2 top 5s.
Yeah, and recently in what was it, Pocono?
Yep. All right. So Justin, Thomas, who do you all got?
You know, common sense would say either go with the Gibbs or a Penske driver, but I'm going to go with Chase Elliott. He's due to have a good race, especially after the last 6 weeks he's had.
Yeah. Jesus. He hasn't had a top 10 since. He hasn't had a top 10 since Sonoma, I believe. Or not even. No, he hasn't had a top 10 since last Pocono race.
Wow. Let's
Only
Let's
7 top 10s for Chase Elliott this season.
and the last time Chase Elliott found a top 10 finish was over a month ago at Pocono. The first race.
Oh.
I'm
All
afraid
right.
he's unstable.
All right. What about you, Justin? Who do you got?
Let me check something. Uh,
Justin's like, I gotta think. I got points to make up.
Gotta put his thinking cap on. Make a decision.
What?
I'm very curious what Justin's pick is going to look like.
oof. I already got my pick now.
All right. Who do you got?
I'm picking one of the drivers I hate. Not Kyle Busch. My other driver I hate. Martin Truex Jr. is going to win.
Wait, I never knew you hated Truex.
I did start last year. That started last year.
Yeah, unfortunately.
Ooh.
What?
Yeah. I'm the
All right.
Jr. He won there in 2017. He almost won last year. He's run really good at Sonoma. 2016 could have got a good finish, but he got spun in the final turn in 2016. I feel like Martin Truex Jr. is going to win at Watkins Glen.
That's a great pick. It's realistic because Truex Jr. has the road course experience. He has the victory in Watkins Glen 2 years ago. Almost won last year.
Yes, this does feels like Ian's ESPN first take, Joseph.
And he has 3 wins at Sonoma for 3 different teams.
Yeah.
All right. So here's my pick. I'm not gonna make like a flashy stat. I'm just gonna show you my pick, just normal, whatever. Kind of like how this guy wins all the time. So I'll show you in a minute.
Those are beautiful screens.
Wait. Hold on. Hold on. Okay. Let me rephrase that. I'm gonna show you just bland. Like all of his wins are. Just bland. No pizzazz. Yeah.
Yep, that's a car.
Yeah, exactly. I mean,
Yeah,
literally
car.
every time Truex wins, the race is boring. Think about it.
Truex, that
the
race
bo-
in Watkins Glen 2 years ago was anything but boring.
Yeah, one of only like 2 races he's won that's actually exciting.
I'm kind of. I just realized. Do you want to know what I just realized about Eldora? The first time there's only 32 trucks entered. The first time that everybody's going to make the race at Eldora.
Wait, is it 32 that make the Eldora race? I know there's different rules.
No,
I think
it's 30. Only 32 trucks entered.
Usually we get late entrants.
But it should. But even nope, there's no late entries this year. It's the entry list.
Race is Thursday.
Yep.
Hey, we're gonna talk about Eldora picks because I want to get into some regional racing.
Hey, by the way, there's a new team for this race. Kart Idaho is the race team. With
Who's driving?
Tim Ward, driver of the 08 Toyota Tundra.
Tim Ward.
Yeah. That's his. I'm just looking at these. I'm just looking at the entries. We have dirt drivers in here. I see already a couple dirt drivers.
Justin Abbey.
Chase Briscoe.
Shipley. I mean, Chase Briscoe, Stuart Friesen. Listen, I have all the confidence in Stuart Friesen.
Hey, not just him. You have Kyle Strickler in the 54.
So who do you guys got winning the Eldora Dirt Derby?
Oh, trying to pick. There's so many dirt drivers is the problem.
Not just limited to dirt drivers.
That's a good question. I want to go with Infinger again.
The points leader who hasn't won a race yet this season.
Just looking at.
All right. What about you, Thomas? Who do you got?
I'm going to have to go Chase Briscoe.
Back-to-back wins, technically.
Can he get a win at Eldora?
He won last year.
Yep.
There's never been a repeat winner at Eldora.
Yeah.
All right.
Can he make it work?
Who to the rest? Joseph, Justin.
Stuart Friesen.
All right.
Ooh. My pick,
Oh man, I'm tired.
the 2018 ARCA champion. He is a dirt racer. I feel like Sheldon Creed's going to get his first career win because he is a dirt track driver. He's raced on dirt. He's won on dirt too. So I feel like Sheldon Creed's going to get his first career win and make the chase.
All right.
For GMS Racing.
Only 2 races left for the chase.
Yep.
Begins.
The last race is Michigan, and then the playoffs start at Bristol.
All right. So I'll give you guys my pick. Well, I'm not going to give a flashy again, but I'm going to give a little hot take. Stuart Friesen gets to win an Eldor, and if he doesn't win, he's going to miss the playoffs. That's my bold take.
You know, a contending driver will miss the playoffs this year. They have a great chance, and it might not just be Stuart Friesen. It could even be Grant Enfinger. Might just end up being Matt Crafton
or Ben Rhodes.
Ben Rhodes is already out. Ben Rhodes is already out.
I would be surprised if.
But any one of these,
Enfinger,
starting off with any one of these drivers have a great chance to pulling an easy win. They just haven't.
Any other races or?
Oh
any
yeah,
other big
I have a
races?
whole list of races that took place on the weekend aside from NASCAR.
So are those are miscellaneous races?
Yeah, the miscellaneous events with the regional series and motocross, and as well as even the Tour de France. Let's get things started, boys, with the
Joseph with this non-motorsports bullshit.
okay, I mean,
well, we did have.
All right, let's get into the 2 wheels before we go back to the 4 wheels in the regional series.
Joseph, come on, man.
All right, so motocross, we had Mashugul. Eli Tomac sweeps both motos once again to get the overall win in his Kawasaki. Ken Roxon is the runner-up Roxon with 2 and 3rd in his motos, finishing 2nd. Marvin Musquin, the Frenchman, 5th and 2nd in his motos, and his KTM to get 3rd. Cooper Webb 4th, and in his motos 5th. Jason Anderson 4th and 7th in his motos, and the Husqvarna to get 5th. Here are the point standings after 9 of 12 races. Eli Tomac leads over Marvin Musquin, 50 points, 57 points separate Roxon and Tomac. Webb, 68 points, and Jason Anderson, 88. The next race is in New Berlin, New York, round 10 of 12. That's in August 10th. All right, and as for the Tour de France, just a brief congratulations to Egan Bernal, the Colombian native, the youngest Tour de France overall winner since the days of the World War II. And sometimes it's good to wear yellow, and that's the case. Let's talk about the NASCAR Pinty Series, Justin. You've been watching that over the weekend. We had not 1, not 2, but 3 races complete in the last week, and 2 of them ended with red flags.
Yep. Race number 1 at
Saskatoon.
At Saskatoon, finished on lap 116 of 125 because of the rain. And that race 1, let me go pull it up.
I have the results right here.
Let me just check Racing Reference.
Yeah, you go ahead.
Where is it? Wait, I have to, because it doesn't show on Racing Reference. I have to go on Alex Tagliani's page and find it.
All right, I'll read off race 1.
Okay. LP Dumoulin won, led 33 laps. Kevin Lacroix second, led 83 laps. And Ranger got 3rd. LeBay 4th. Hathaway 5th. We had 3 caution flags. Actually, 4. We had the 24 spun in turn 3. So Teague spun in turn 3. Simone and Jason White spun in turn 2. Tagliani spun in turn 2. And then the rain. That resulted in a red flag.
Yeah, that ended race 1.
And we had...
That was Andrew Ranger's 3rd win, or actually 2nd win of the season. For we're on race 1. Oh, now race 1 was actually won by Dumoulin.
Yeah, Ranger got third. One car was out of the race.
Chantal Kalika.
In the 43, lap 1 vibration because she stalled in the start, and yeah.
Let's talk about race 2 now.
Race 2.
This one finished at full distance,
Yeah.
and likewise, Kalika did start in park with a vibration. Andrew Ranger scores his second of 3 wins. We'll get into the next one in a moment.
And then DJ Kennington second, and I just realized DJ Kennington's race team 1 and 2.
Dodge swept the entire top 5 at race 2 in Saskatoon.
Brett Taylor got his first top 5 in his career, getting third in that 46 car. LP Dumoulin fourth, and Kevin Lacroix rounded out the top 5. And the cautions, TJ Reno Mato spun on lap 47, and then Simoni and Landauer spun on lap 85. There was only 2 cautions. After race 2 at Saskatoon, Ranger has an 8-point lead. But now we're heading into Edmonton, the Luxor 300. Andrew Ranger won on lap 275 due to rain, so 25 laps left. There was rain. He led 253 laps. Hathaway second. Dumoulin third with a lap left. LeBay fourth, and T got fifth. So it was Dodge, Chevy, Dodge, Ford, Chevy. Rounded out the top 5. And also we had Lacroix lead 13 laps. 1 for Dumoulin. And then the other 253 laps was led by Ranger, and also DJ Kennington got 10th after leading 8 laps. The caution, we had the 46 hit the wall with cut tire of Brett Taylor. TJ Reno Mato spun in turn 3. We had the brake. We had a
they have brakes just like in the K&N series.
The 04 of Brandon White spun in turn 1. Then on the front straightaway, Chantal Kalika in the 43 spun, and then the rain brought out the final caution. And going into Trois Rivières, that's the next race.
Yeah, Trois Rivières. That's round 8 of 13.
Yeah. Andrew Ranger is the points leader by 18 over Lacroix. Dumoulin third, 30 back. Tagliani 44 back. And Alex LeBay rounds out the top 5, 61 points back.
So yeah, 61 points back, and I'll tell you, like, Dumoulin was pretty consistent in the races from Saskatoon in race 1 when he won, and then the second Saskatoon race he got 4th. But then you go to Edmonton and third. As long as like you keep the top 5s running, you'll stay stable, and that's the deal with him. So I think, as long as you survive the Saskatchewan-Alberta mountain, that is a big check mark to get off, because now you have rounds 5, 6, and 7 complete.
Wow.
And we go to a road course, the city road course of Trois Rivières in Quebec.
I'm looking at this right now. We actually have a tied for 6th place in points between Kennington and Tej. But Kennington has a tiebreaker because Kennington has better finishes than Tej. So that's why Kennington is basically 6, and 7 would be Tej, but they're tied for 6. And Hathaway, Dilly, and Cameron round out the top 10 in points.
All right, let's talk about the other regional event that took place over the race weekend. The K&N Series East-West combination race at the Iowa Speedway took place Friday night. This was the East Series round 7 of 12, the West Series round 8 of 14. Here's the top 5.
Sam Mayer led 142 laps. Ty Gibbs second. Ruben Garcia Jr. third. Derek Kress first. And Chase Cabry fifth by leading 5 laps. And the other leader was Tanner Gray, led 3. They were the only 3 leaders. The highest K&N East driver, Sam Mayer, that won. And Derek Kress, the highest West driver, was 4th. And we also had a wood draw. Jet Nolan in the 09 wood draw in his car. But the cautions, lap 15, we had debris. More debris, lap 29. Lap 33, Derek Krause spun in turn 4. We had 2 breaks during this race. Break number 1 was lap 51. Lap 101, break number 2. Debris on the back straightaway on lap 128. The final caution. Jagger Jones got spun by his own teammate, Trevor Huddleston, on lap 142. So, by the way, for the K&N East points, Sam Mayer's the points leader for K&N East by 6 over Kraus. Cabry 3rd, Gray 4th, McLaughlin 5th. So Kraus is 6 points back in K&N East. Cabry minus 12, Tanner Gray minus 22, and Max McLaughlin minus 34.
Yeah, Max McLaughlin. Here's what I'll tell you. There's the increments are not too big in the East Series. A -6 for Kraus, who's really meant to drive in the West Series. Chase Cabaret minus 12, and then Tanner Gray minus 22, minus 34 is Max McLaughlin.
Well, I'm looking for K&N West.
Yeah, here's the West Series. I wrote both points right here.
Kraus
leads teammate Deegan
by 16. Huddleston minus 23. Jagger Jones minus 24. And Brittany Zamora minus 61. And I just realized the top 2 teammates, then more teammates, 3rd and 4th with Huddleston. And so I just noticed all Bill McAnally cars that are full-time are in the top 5.
Yeah, I realized.
But I just realized for rookie.
Yo, Money, you look sleepy, bro.
By the way, I'm looking at like the rookie.
Hang in there.
The highest rookie in points for the K&N West is Jagger Jones.
Jagger Jones is the grandson of Parnelli Jones, son of PJ.
And Brittany Zamora is the 2nd highest rookie in 5th. Because she is a rookie.
Zamora had mechanical problems in the Iowa race, finishing last.
Yep. And for K&N East, the highest rookie in the points is the points leader, Sam Mayer, in that 21 car. That also, Sam Mayer is going to make his truck debut at Bristol in the number 21 truck.
So the next race for the K&N West Series is Evergreen, round 9 of 14, while the next race for the K&N East Series is at Watkins Glen International this weekend, round 8 of 12. So I think that wraps up our miscellaneous events. And, I want to talk about my paper. You know how everybody says team orders is a bad thing in Formula One?
Because they are.
Well, guess what? What happened with Multi-21? People are mad that Vettel did not observe team orders because for once Red Bull wanted the teacher's pet to be Mark Webber, and that eventually drove him out of Formula One.
Hey, by the way, there's this weekend. There's the K&N East race at Watkins Glen, but there's another NASCAR weekly, like NASCAR home track thing. The Modifieds are racing at Stafford,
Connecticut.
At 7 p.m. Eastern on August 2nd.
Home of the best show in the world, Maury.
Yeah, the Stafford.
Just kidding.
What is Maury? What's Maury?
Of course, you're the only one to bring it up.
Question. What's Maury?
It's a TV show.
Stay on Skype with me after this.
Wait,
I'll give you a crash course.
Wait.
Oh my God.
That might just leave now.
Don't do it, Joseph.
Wait. The race at Stafford, August 2nd. Right, basically the K&N East race starts at 4:45 Eastern. The Stafford race starts at 7 Eastern on Friday night. The Stafford 150. That's the next modified race.
We'll basically best to say we'll be very entertained at the start of the race, and the green flag will be dropped. So there's that. Let's debrief before. I know Armani's a little eager. He's got ants in his pants.
I gotta move. I can't stay in one spot.
I know. I feel you.
Like
I have to continue my philosophy paper after this call.
Wait, I have to check something. Wait. I have to go check something. Wait.
I have a Skype appointment.
Should we wrap this up?
And I still want to talk.
Wait, I have to just check. Okay, I was just checking who's leading the modified points before Stafford, and it is Doug Coby by 28 over Ron Sill, Justin Bonsinger minus 38, Craig Lutz minus 75, and Eric Goodale minus 78.
Yeah, Ronnie Silk won the last race at Loudon.
Yep. Man, Doug Kobe is a 5-time champion in the modifieds, trying to get 6 this year. I think it's 6. Let me go check Doug Kobe's stats. Let me check. Let me count. 1,
See, Doug
2,
Kobe.
3, 4. Yep. No, wait. 4-time championship in modifieds. He's trying to get 5 this year. He already has 3 wins, 6 top 5s, 9 top 10s. In 9 in 9 races.
Then be invested.
Yeah. He has a top 10 in every race. That's really impressive.
I gotta check the point standings myself then for the NASCAR Wheel and Modified Tour.
Yeah.
And we haven't talked about ARCA. We'll get into ARCA in just a moment about the Pocono race.
Can we do that another time?
But we have to say it. We can't say next.
Okay,
Sure.
let's just give a debrief. There were only 20 cars in the race. Todd Gilliland, did he win?
No. Christian
No.
Eckes.
Christian Eckes won. Okay, thank you for telling me. Michael Self has the points lead. It's extended to Michael Self had a great points battle over Brett Holmes, which extended.
Wait.
Oh, yeah. So here's the top 5 results at Pocono. Eckes, Gilliland, Michael Self, Corey Heim, Rafael Lassard. And the point standings, Michael Self leads 90 points over Brett Holmes, 105 over Christian Eckes, 120 over Travis Braden, and 255 over Joe Graff Jr. Next race is
Look at
round
this
16.
graph.
Next race is round 16 of 20. We have 2 dirt races in a row, Springfield and DuQuoin.
Yep.
There.
That's ARCA. All right.
Good.
All right, let's end this. Throw your social media, do all that crap so we can.
Yeah, man.
Sorry, I'm
Because I'm
tired.
tired.
I'm tired too. I'm
Yeah, man. All right. Follow me on Twitter, Low Boost Danny. Follow me on Instagram, Danny Aguirre _. Make sure you go subscribe to my channel, Danny Aguirre 48.
Follow me on Twitter at JLP Snipes.
Follow my Twitter at YT NASCAR. Follow my Instagram at Justin Bear 88, and go subscribe to my YouTube channel NASCAR 88.
All right. Follow me on Instagram, Velocity87 _. Follow me on Twitter at 87 Velocity. Follow us on Twitter at WR Media Group. Follow us on Instagram at World Racing Media. Click the subscribe button. Follow us on Facebook at World Racing Media. Ignore me wearing the hat like this. I don't know why the hell I did it. Thank you guys so much for tuning in to
Wait,
this
hold on, Joseph.
podcast. And remember, folks, to stay
Stay
off the
damn
damn
weed.
weed.
All right, guys.
All right.
Catch you guys on the flip side.
Take care, folks.